Okay, so AI actually has a lot of opportunity for people to actually incorporate in every single business. Then how do you differentiate your business from other people? Okay, and then one of the main thing about AI is it's very challenging to implement. It's not so easy to implement, and it's quite difficult to implement. Okay. One of the survey done in 2018 last year, most of the C-level said they will increase investment in AI by 50%. And 92% of them said they will at least spend 5 million in AI in 2018. So you can see, if you look at want to invest AI, what are the opportunities that you can actually invest in AI? Okay? So AI actually mainly is to drive consumer experience and growth. Okay? And then most of the investment in AI is actually not just related to IT, related to customer service, customer e-commerce, sales, marketing, and even employee productivity. Okay? So you look at the chart there, you can see you can actually implement AI not just in IT, in every sector. Okay? In consumer, customer service, sales, marketing, employee productivity, human resource, finance, and manufacturing. So these are things that people look at AI and what are the latest news related to AI. So you can see here, of course, we know that the latest AI has managed to beat the best Go player in the world. Okay, and then you can usually say you can actually do auto translation on the live. So if you have Google Translate, you can visit a country, you can look at the menu, you can actually see the auto translation for it. For example, you can see the Goa sign there. Then AI has been used in self-driving cars. Okay, how do you train a car to can actually recognize all the signboard, people, everything on the road, and able to navigate by itself. Okay, AI also able to do a lot of image analytics and video analytics. For example, you can actually do direct mapping of this horse to a zebra. So with this, so many AI things that are happening, so what is actually AI? Okay, so AI has, like for example, from Google, the CEO of Google, he said AI is more profound than when the humans invented or found electricity or fire. Okay, so during the cavemen, when they found fire, they actually saved them a lot because they can actually cook the food and no longer their food infection. Then from there, when human found electricity, it changed our life. Okay, it changed our manufacturing, it changed all our life. So next wave of technology change in our life will be AI. Okay. So what is actually AI? Okay, so a lot of people think that AI is something very new, but actually the term AI actually existed about 50 years ago. Okay, 50 years ago there are already people talking about AI. Okay, so what is AI at that time? AI at that time basically you can actually develop a program where you can actually do something by yourself. For example, you can actually play chess. That's considered AI at that time. Okay. Subsequently, in 1980s, okay, 30 years ago, people talk about machine learning. Okay, because suddenly we have a lot of data, we can actually use the data to train machine. Then now, in about 20 years ago, people talk about deep learning. So you see about all these facial recognition, all these image analytics, video analytics. Okay, I use Google Home or Alexa. Those are all related to deep learning. Okay. So you can see basically, if I want to do AI, I need to do machine learning. I need to do deep learning. Okay. So a lot of people say, I want to learn AI, but I don't want to learn machine learning. That's a misconception. Okay. You cannot do AI if you do not know machine learning. Okay. So what is machine learning? Okay. So if you look at how humans learn, how do humans learn? Okay. We learn from experience. From a small kid, we send the kid to kindergarten, then from primary school, secondary school, to university. Okay, we learn from experience. Okay, so a kid, when they see a kettle and they touch a kettle, it's hot. In the future, remember there's a cat hot, he will not touch again. So we actually learn from experience. Then from there, what we have done? We have programmer. They can write a lot of programs. Okay, we have apps, we have Android apps, we have iOS apps, we have Windows. All those are all programs. Okay, how does a program work? So program basically follow instruction. The programmer will define all the instruction. They write all the instruction if else into the program. That's how the program works. Okay. Then how does machine learn? Okay. So human learn from experience, program from instruction. When I talk about machine learning, how does machine learn? Okay. What does machine learn from? Okay. So machine learning can only learn from one thing. Okay. You can learn from data. So if you want to implement AI, if you want to implement machine learning, first thing you must think about yourself is, do you have a data? or do you know where to find the data? Okay? So if you do not have data, machine learning is very hard to implement. Okay? So with machine learning, you can actually do a lot of typical problems. Okay? For example, you can do classification. Okay? If you are working in a bank, you want to classify whether this customer will take up my program or campaign or not. Okay? Or you work in a telco, you want to know whether this customer will churn or not, will leave my subscription or not. Okay? Or you look at a face, you want to know whether you classify this person is a male or female. That's classification. Okay? Then you can do regression. Regression means basically you can predict like sales price, how many sales people, or gold price, or share price. Those are all regression. Then you can do clustering, you can group data together, or you can do anomaly detection. Anomaly detection means when you have event that is abnormal. For example, when your network got hacked, or when you have credit card fraud, those are all abnormal behavior. Okay? You can use machine learning to do this. So basically, machine learning is something like AI, okay, where you can actually allow the machine to learn without writing program, without specifically writing a program. Okay? So if you compare to the traditional classical programming, okay, so last time if I'm a programmer, a developer, I have to write all the rules. Okay? If I want to do Java program or C++ program, I have to write all the rules, put in the data, and get the answer. Okay? So that is classical programming. So any programmer last time will have learned this. But we know if you do classical programming, the rules have to be predefined. But if the environment change, if the context change or scenario change, the rule have to be changed. Okay? So we know this cannot be scaled. Okay? So let's say we want to train the machine to classify cats and dogs. We can write all the information how to classify a cat and how to classify a dog. But let's say I show a picture half of a cat or half of a dog. Human being can see that this is a cat, this is a dog, but machine cannot. Okay? So if you use a classical programming, it will not work. Okay? Therefore, we need to go to a new model where we do machine learning. Okay? So machine learning means with all the data that we have and with the answer. For example, let's say I have a cat's picture, I label that is a picture of a cat. Or let's say I have a picture of a dog, I label that as a picture of a dog. So that's the answer. So given the picture and the answer, my machine will learn the features by itself. Then you give me the rules. Okay? So this is how machine learning can scale. Okay? And without, as long as you have more and more data and more answers labeled, then you can do a proper machine learning. Okay, so with that, is that the end is near? Are we going to have Terminator coming soon to the past to actually rectify everything? Is AI going to take over human being? Okay? A lot of people are saying, AI is going to replace all our workforce very soon. We are all going to lose our job very soon. Is the end very near? Okay? Actually, it's not. If you look at artificial intelligence can be classified into two. One is called artificial narrow intelligence. Narrow intelligence means, yes, the machine is very smart, but it only can do one thing. For example, the machine can play Go chess. Okay? You will just play Go chess. You will not suddenly go and bake cake for you, go and wash your laundry, decide where to send your kid to. You will not do all that. Okay? So let's say you have a Google Home or you have an Alexa smart speaker. You only understand certain contexts. You will not do extra things by yourself. Okay? Or you have a machine that can drive cars. You only drive cars. You will not do anything. So those are what we call artificial narrow intelligence. The things that you see in the movie is called artificial general intelligence. That means the machine behaves like human being. It can do everything by itself. Okay? We are far from that. Okay? So far, we are only here. Okay? We are only in the ANI, artificial narrow intelligence. Okay? So don't go and think that I want to write a program AI can replace my accountant in my company because my accountant is very expensive. So I want to cut costs, so I want to do everything. Okay, we are not there yet. Okay. So why AI took off? Okay, why AI took off? Why suddenly in the past 20, 30 years, everybody talk about AI? Actually, there are three factors that contributing to that. First thing is, we have a lot of data. Okay, we know that machine learning can only train with data. Now, every day we are generating data. Our smartphone generates data. Our sensors are generating data. Every day we have data. We have smart fridge, smart TV. All these are also data being generated. So with a lot of data, we can train our machine better. Okay. Second thing is, we have a lot of processing power now. Okay. A lot of people buying video card, all those expensive cards, 3,000 ringgit. They can actually do Bitcoin mining, all those things. Those are very expensive cards that can actually high processing power. Okay. So processing power is very cheap. Okay? You can actually do a lot of advanced processing. Okay? And lastly, we have a lot of models now. Okay? We have a lot of open source model, machine learning model, deep learning model that we can actually utilize. So with these three combination of factors, AI can easily take off, and most of the companies nowadays can actually implement AI. So what are the steps to implement an AI project in your company? Basically, you actually have 5 steps. So the first step is to define what is the strategy. Okay? A lot of times people want to do AI, but what do you want to do actually? You don't have a clear strategy. Okay? You cannot expect AI to do everything for you. So you must have a clear strategy why you want, or objectives, why you want to implement AI in your company. Second thing is, execution is very important. Okay? How to execute an AI project? Okay? Third, make sure you have your own internal expertise, give training, and fifth, make sure you communicate well the outcome and the result. Okay? So let's go through one by one. The first thing is to define AI project or objective. Okay? AI is very mature in certain area. Okay? So, but to have a clear objective in your company, you must know what you want to do. You cannot say, I want to replace the CFO, or I want to automate every task in my company. Okay? So make sure you know how to use the data effectively, first thing. Okay? Second thing is, what is the opportunity? Okay? You want to invest money to AI is because you want to differentiate your company. Okay? You want to make sure you can compete your competitor. Okay? That's the reason. So if you want to do something, make sure what is the innovation part. Where are you going to be differentiate from your competitor? Third thing is, everything needs money. Okay? Locate some budget. Okay? And then, make sure you do some project will give you quick win. Okay? AI project usually will take a long time. But sometimes the management will not see the return so fast. So make sure you do some small project that give you quick win. Okay? And find the right partner. And lastly, of course, whenever you do, make sure you choose a project that gives you the highest business value. Okay? Basically, what you want to do. You want to know in your company what your team can do. First thing, what your team can do. Second thing is, what project that is valuable to the company. So you find the intersection. The intersection is the one that you're going to tackle. Okay? So basically, what your expert can do and what is valuable to your company, that is the one that you want to do in the company for AI project. Okay? So basically, when you do brainstorm, okay, don't try to say, I want to automate everything. Try to see what is the main driver in the company that you want to tackle. Okay? What are the pain points? Okay? So don't try to say, I want to replace my operator, my company. Okay? But try to see what are the tasks that you can actually automate. Okay? So basically, when you look at the startup comparison, people say you want to do either solution, which is vitamin or painkiller. Vitamin, we know is a supplement. Take or don't take, doesn't matter. Okay? But if you are in pain, you want painkiller. Okay? You want to something that relieves your pain point as soon as possible. So when you think about any project, make sure this is a vitamin or this is a painkiller. Second thing is, make sure you execute your project small. Okay? Don't try to go for a big AI project. Usually big AI project very hard to succeed. Most of the time AI project will fail at the first time. Okay? So make sure you choose a project that you can succeed. Because you need to convince the management that, oh, this AI project is bringing value to my company. Okay? And then not that after you invested so much money, 2 or 3 years later, then it failed. Okay? Then your management would not believe AI what it can do. Okay? So make sure you partner with the right team and make sure something that is technically feasible that you can do. Okay? And always remember, AI project or machine learning project is an iterative process. It's not like software development, one shot finish, close shot at all. It's always continuously need to improve. Okay? Because once you deploy a project, you get more data, then you come back and improve the model. So we always tell the management that, okay, first round your model, whatever, will not work very successfully. But once we deploy, we get feedback, and we can come back and fine-tune our model. Okay? Sometimes the management does not understand this is like continuously project that you need to fine-tune it. Okay? Most of the time, the first time the project that you go, okay, it will not work very well. But you need to fine-tune it. Okay? Third thing is, make sure you build your AI team, okay, internally. Okay? A lot of companies, when they want to implement AI project, the fastest way is they want to outsource. Okay? You ask for fast, it's good, it's fast, but eventually, remember I said the model needs to be continuously improved. Okay? You need to build your own AI team to understand what are the problems that you are going to solve. So therefore, if you have the right internal team, okay, then you can continuously improve your own model. Okay? And also, you need to build up your own internal skill set. Okay? AI is not something that is easily find talent out there. Okay? So if you have your own talent, you need to continuously improve their skill set. Okay? So make sure your internal team is very efficient. Make sure all the project and also keep it internally. The next thing also, the next important thing also, why you want to keep your project internally is because data. You do not want your external outsourced company to have all the access to your data, because that is considered your valuable to your company. So if you have all your internal team can do your model building internally, then you can keep all your data internally. Okay? You will not allow the data to be accessible by a third party. So basically, the best way to structure an internal AI team is you have your own separate team, AI team, and this AI team will talk to individual business units independently, and they will understand their business problem, and then they can actually develop solution for each individual business team. Okay, so this is the best way you can actually have your internal AI team. Okay, so in a way you can structure AI team in this format. Okay, you can have a data science director or analytics managing director. So this person will be the middle person between the management and the technical team. Okay? So this person will report back what is going on and what are the outcomes, and then he can actually understand what is the requirement from the management. Then you have your machine learning engineer or data scientist, and then you have an engineer. Okay? Most of the time in a Malaysia, China-man company, you have 3 in 1. Okay? 3% will be 1 person that do everything. Okay, step number 4. Okay, provide broad AI training. Okay, don't just say AI is only for the AI team or AI is only for the IT team. Okay, if the top management, the middle management do not understand the value of AI, okay, then you will fail. Okay, so make sure the whole company have a broad literacy about AI. Okay, and we know AI talent is very hard to find. Okay? Even Malaysia, there are not many universities offering AI degree specialization. Okay? We only started about data science specialization about 2 or 3 years ago. Okay? So every single management from top to bottom, they should know how to access the data, how to have a little bit understanding about agile analytics, and how AI can benefit the whole company. Okay? If you want to give training to the company internally, you can ask them to take up many courses online. For example, you have this MOOC, massive open online courses like Coursera, Udacity, Udemy, many more that they can actually take up this kind of training on their own time. Step number 5, make sure you develop internal, external communication. Okay, again, communication is very important. Okay, sometimes the management have some sort of idea or vision, okay, but that does not translate to the data or AI team. Then there is a mismatch of direction or vision. Okay, so make sure there is always a communication with the right stakeholder. Okay? So maintain a good communication with the investor, stakeholder, okay? And then also with the government agency. So whenever you talk about data, sometimes you also talk about the privacy, the governance. Okay? So make sure whatever data that you're accessing, you have the right permission, okay, from the user itself. Make sure you also communicate to the user how does an AI benefit to the customer. Okay? And also whenever you build yourself as an AI company, when you market your product with all these differentiations, it's good for you that you say your product is different from your competitor, and also you're also able to recruit the talent, the top talent from the country. Because when they see your companies are all very innovative, they will want to book your company. Okay? And lastly, internal communication is very important. Always communicate to the whole company where are we now in terms of our AI development, okay? And what AI is bringing to the company. Okay? So let's say now I want to do AI. Okay, do I need to invest a lot of money or just buy tools? Okay, there are many tools out there that you can actually buy. Okay, but if you do not want to buy tools, there also have a lot of open source tools out there. Okay, for example, TensorFlow from Google, PyTorch from Facebook, okay, Cafe, H2O, Keras. These are all the open source tools that you can use. You can actually kick off or kickstart some project internally without spending expensive tools. Okay, tools are good. but sometimes they are not really customizable to your requirement of company. Okay, so these are the common pitfalls that when people implement AI will fall into. First thing, okay, make sure you do not expect AI to be magic bullet. Okay? You cannot say, oh, AI will come and do everything for me. In 2 years' time, we are going to solve all our problems. Okay? AI is not magic, and AI is not so simple. Okay? So be realistic. Don't expect AI can do everything for you. Okay? AI is very good in certain domains, like image, videos, speech, those are very good. Okay? Then, second thing is, don't expect you want to hire 2 or 3 machine learning engineers can solve all your problems. Okay? A lot of people say, oh, I just want to spend some money now, hire 2 person, that will solve all my problems. Okay? Machine learning engineer, data scientists, some of them might not know your business. Okay? So make sure you align the AI solution with your company direction and how does it bring business value to your company. The third thing is, you expect the AI to work at the first time. I will tell you, most of the time, AI will not work the first time, you will fail. Okay? But fail doesn't mean you completely fail. You just have to make sure the AI is an iterative process, go back and fine tune your AI. Okay? Maybe the first time when you do prediction inference, you will not hit 90%, you only hit 60%. But that doesn't mean you fail. Okay? It means you need to go back and fine tune your model. Okay? The fourth thing is, you expect everything to be the same, traditional way of doing things. No, you have to change the way you do things. You have to work with the AI team and make sure the timeline, the deliverable, the outcome, the KPI is aligned with what the company wants. And lastly, don't think that you need to employ superstar AI engineer. Make sure you only can employ people from Harvard or MIT or Stanford to work with you. Then only your AI project can start. Okay? You have to build a diverse team. If you just have only engineer things like engineer, they will not understand business value. They will not understand so much of what's the company vision. Okay? You need to build a more diverse team. Okay? That encompass different background, different expertise, different knowledge tools. So in conclusion, okay, there's no one size fits all for all AI projects. But there's one thing that you need to be sure if you want to kick off AI project and company. Okay, you should start small. Okay, do a small project if you're confident. Also show to the management AI bring value to your company. Okay, start small. The next thing is make sure you choose 1 or 2 company level AI project, pilot project. Okay, again, it's for you to gain momentum. Make sure the management buy your idea. Okay, believe that AI can bring value to the company. Then eventually they will pump in more resources, hire more people. Then you can do more AI project in your company. Okay, so this is my contact. You can find me in LinkedIn, Facebook, or Twitter. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much to Dr. Pupan Hong. I believe that we have benefited from the presentation we made in terms of what are the strategies required for an organization to embark in artificial intelligence, what are the common things to be avoided, and what are the recommendations for us to do in order for us to have a linear adoption of artificial intelligence. Okay, now with much honor, I would like to call upon our next presenter, Mr. Chris Bao, which is a president of ISM Malaysia chapter, to share about his presentation, which is his actual experience in IT architecture. Okay, before I forgot, on top of the table, maybe, can you, okay, on top of the table, you have this feedback form. So we will appreciate if you can fill up the form so that later on we will use it to determine whether you can receive all the slides which we presented for the event. Okay. In addition, you can also scan the QR code if you want to access the survey form online. Okay. Okay.
Good afternoon. I think by now you should have observed that there is a difference between the topic in the booklet versus the topic I'm going to talk about. So the reason why I changed the topic is because in the past BITAS years, I've been talking about the process of change. Right, I thought of doing it on AI, but I think Dr. Poo has done a good job. And my friend from past class will also share his experience on how to change, how to implement AI within class Malaysia. So I'm going to talk a little bit something different. I hope this benefits most of you. Yeah, the topic is about my journey as an IT architect. How I started off from a graduate, right, going into a software developer, right, and going into the architect journey. To me, it's very meaningful. It changed my life. So I hope this will bring something to you back that you can think about, whether it's for your employees, for yourself, or even you can even use it as a skill to start your own business. I did that. So without further ado, let's start. There are 3 criteria in this digital era that I always mention it, and I hope you keep it in your mind. The world today about IT, or about digital business, or about digital capable business, is about how fast, how far, and how effective. How fast means that whenever there is a service given, how fast can you complete it? We are talking about response time, not from the server, yeah? From you to your customers, right? We are talking about how far. Business today is not targeting Malaysia or Kuala Lumpur or KL City alone. We are talking about what are the regions that you are covering. Am I right? Even when they start up business, they talk about Asia. Wow, you're just starting up a business. Your idea is not firm yet, but they are talking about their business idea that able to penetrate region, right? So it's also about how effective, when you're covering that kind of places, yeah, how are you going to consume your sales funnel through the operations and deliver excellent services to your customers. So if you want to achieve the 3 how over here, first thing you want to look at is your enterprise architecture. Anyone of you over here is very new to the word enterprise architecture? Doesn't matter if you are new. Good. Who else? Enterprise architecture to me, back then in 10 years, I just thought that this is a cool title that I can have. I can get more salary and things like that. Today is very different. Let me give you a scenario. I believe your parents or yourself own a house. Am I right? If your wife or your husband is going to make some changes to your house, this is my typical example. I think some of you already heard it many times. Let's say talk about why, because why I always want to knock the kitchen and make it bigger, so that it's bigger than your garage, right? So what is the first thing that you want to look at or you want to find out before you look for a contractor? When you want to expand a kitchen,
Space.
whether we have space, right? What else?
Design.
Design, very good. What else? Not interior design or graphic design, right?
Your wife thinking.
Wife maybe thinking about the kitchen must be classy, there must be island in the middle or something like that, right? What else?
Functionality.
Functionality
Yeah.
of the equipment.
Yeah.
Very good. What else? Those are part of the requirement that you need before you talk to a contractor, right? But why no one talk about the blueprint of your kitchen? Do you simply just knock the wall, or you just let your contractor knock the wall as they decided? Have you seen any news when somebody knock a wall, make a hole, and they become a swimming pool? You have seen that, right? The reason is because
When the contractor come into your house and you do not supply the view of the house or the blueprint of the house, they actually do not know where exactly is the piping, where exactly they can knock the wall to extend, where is the electricity wiring throughout the house. They can only think based on their experience. Based on my experience, the wall piping should be around here. What if that person doesn't have experience? Similarly, if you go back into software today or enterprise today, when you make a change without a view of your company, you basically are not allowed to do that. Am I right? But normally, when you make a change in your enterprise, it takes enormous time to actually analyze what you have first. Am I right? Anyone from IT company here? Good. Anyone from business that deal with IT? Have you talked to IT people that, oh, I need to find out about this. Do you have that? I don't have. So what happened? Can you talk to your people to find out? Right? Am I right? That process take how long?
A month sometimes.
A month sometimes? A month is very fast.
Depends.
What if you need to make a change to the whole department or multiple departments? I have seen a case, it took about 6 months to analyze. This is a big corporation. And they take another 6 months to prepare tender. And they take another 6 months for development. And they take another 6 months for pilot. Is this how fast you're talking about? I don't think it can even go far. Right? Because we take small step, right? But this small step actually takes 2 years for you to make a step. This is what I learned about enterprise architecture. I have 13 years experience in not enterprise architecture per se, but in IT experience. I started out with a software tester. Soon enough, after 1 year, I felt very bored about it. It's about preparing test cases, run the test multiple times. Yeah? And that time, 13 years back, we also talk about automation. Why? Because we want it to be fast. Right? So soon enough, I went into become a software developer. Going through the journey, I have worked in multiple national companies, although some are short time, right? Some to be mentioned, company like GfK, a German-based market research company, right? Dell, a global e-commerce company. I'm sure you know Dell, right? Some of you purchase online. Dow Energy, a power production company in Denmark, yeah. And Tanjung Group is selling Nissan and Renault in Malaysia, right? So I wouldn't say I have vertical domain knowledge into every aspect of the business, but I have actually realized something which is very common. They simply do not have an end-to-end transformation process. And a lot of times it's very ad hoc. Business want it to be fast. So that's where I actually gone into learning enterprise architecture. So today, I'm the CEO of a modular cake. The business has started about 1 year plus ago. Yeah? It's a software house. There's a reason why I started this business. And before that, I was a speaker. Used often to be a speaker at conference about enterprise architecture because I love it. I think this is the way to go. Let you guys tell me what you think later after the session. Right? I've been a trainer in various locations. I used to be a trainer as well. And I also used to be a digital government consultant for digital government for 2 agencies, KBKT and as well as the Mampu as well. So that's how I also touch a little bit on digital government part. And there's always some very common blocks which I want to share with you later on. In Tanjung Group, I help the business to set up offshore company, IT offshoring company in Vietnam, 2 locations up to about 90 accounts. So this is where I end up with, in my past experience. And I started on my own company to fulfill a vision, my mission. One thing is to become a digital transformation agency. But the journey is quite tough.
I was a graduate, in games design and software engineering. The reason why I go into games design is not because the market needs it, it's because I like to play games. But that was a happy time. I think this is the moment that everybody had, right? In the past. And I went into my few first jobs. I was a very technical guy. If you tell me all sort of technical theory, I read through it, I implement it I test it out into the company, and I would try to find the shortest way to write a code to complete a program. But is this helpful? You see the orange color here? It means bad, right? I thought I was good. If you ask me to build something, I can build anything. But when I build it, I find it, there's a way to improve it. I rewrite everything again. There's a technology come, we should use that technology. Why? Because this is a trend of the technology we should use. So I convinced the business to use. But ended up, the business doesn't appreciate whatever I have done. If you are the developer or IT professionals, do you feel the same? You are professionals, IT professionals, business is supposed to trust you, but you think that they are not listening to you for some reasons. You think that this business people, they really don't understand stuff. That's what I whined about last time. They don't really understand IT. They should just listen to me. But why are they not listening to me? I'm selling this idea, but they don't buy it. How did I sell it? I said this is good. Yeah, this one uses the latest technology. It has this function, that function, this function, and the idea got rejected right away. Go to talk to your IT manager, right? The reason is because I'm not speaking the same language. I'm not convincing enough. I bumped into Aaron and Injit Hassan many years ago when I was there in Dell. Yeah, that attracted me to actually take the first certification course called CITA-F in ISA. Yeah, I talk about a little bit of ISA later on. Have you heard of ISA? Who has not? Sorry, who has heard of ISA? Easier, okay. Most of you have heard about it. I heard about it a long time ago about enterprise architecture, the skill sets and stuff like that. And that was the time I told you, I really think that this is the job title that I should get. And I work for it, right? But I never actually appreciate what exactly is being taught inside the class until it go further down the road when I start practicing it. After I got my first certification, I learned something. The only thing in my first class is business value. Dr. Poo mentioned this just now. Actually, whatever he mentioned is very practical, and it's the skill sets as part of the IT architectural, ISA IT architecture core curriculum. I start practicing, and the color, of course, getting faded, right? Getting better. Yeah. Business started to hear you out. Of course, the first one that trusts me and put me into a project, get me into a location to work on a project is my reporting manager. I started to see changes. What changes did she actually see that time? I talk about business value. Do we need to do this? No, actually, the amount of cost is going to be invested is high. And the value that we are getting, based on my scope of view over here, we see it is quite little. Not unless the business sees some business value from it. Whether competitive advantage in the market, whether you create marketing gimmick, whether you get new customers, whether you retain customers, those are more the business value that the business can see, but I wasn't able to see. But I still can make some impact by talking about business. That's where the business would start listening to you, although they know where you are when you talk about business. And I go through I took actually more courses, right? There is a series of ISA courses and also open group courses, right? I took the subject about TOGAF processes, how to change, the process to change. Yeah, and that gave me a lot of skill sets, yeah, to gain trust. And I was once a business consultant in Tanjong Group. I talked to the business. Let me ask you one question, maybe. When you deal with about 200 to 300 companies, maybe some of you are doing that already. And you have limited IT architect resources. Which business will you focus to start the EA practice? Anyone want to try? I have only a few slides, so if you guys don't interact, it's very boring. It's going to be boring to you guys. If you bump into a business that has about 200 to 300 companies, and you have limited resources of IT architect, right? Which business you will focus first on conducting the EA process? This is a very frequently asked question. Where do we start in EA? The answer is not a fixed answer. You always have to look back into your context of business, right? First is your boss, the big boss. What is his motivation? In the last conference, this person actually asked a question. I worked in being an architect for many years, 13 years, but I can't seem to be able to convince my boss. My only thought in my heart was, did you really know what he wants? Is it more important that the boss not need to know what you want, or you need to know what the boss wants? Yeah, theoretically, the boss has to know everybody, right? Theoretically, yeah? But they don't have time. It's always following the leader, right? Do you actually know what the leader thought? What they want? What is being motivated? Yeah? Every leader that goes manage the company, they have their own agenda for the business, how it's going to run, which focus they want to go into. So that's the first thing that I need to do. What actually motivates the boss to be happy? And that's where he will invest further if he sees results. Am I right? Otherwise, no matter how good you are doing, trust me, you won't get any funding after that. Because, yet another project. Right? Second thing I look at is, among the concerns that he has, among the motivation that he has, which one generates the most income? It's the bread and butter of the business. Well, the third thing I look at is, among the bread and butter, things that he is concerned with, right? Which one is not stagnant? Stagnant means that whatever you do or not, the market will generate the same amount of revenue. That doesn't change. Just like telco, you go into Maxis, right, and DG. The stagnant business is the calling, and it's getting more and more competitive. They don't even want to invest anything further to create competitive advantage anymore. They want to focus more on, DG is selling something else rather than just telco services. They also sell fleet management. Maybank is selling post. So that's where they diversify their business. So you need to understand your group of business, the business segment, the context, what actually requires your help. The stagnant business doesn't require your help. Don't get into it. Yeah? You want to get into the business that generates bread and butter, but it has a lot of problems and room for improvement to capture the market. That's where you need to jump in. So I chose a stream of business to look into. Then I chose the company within the stream of interest, stream of business, to draw a big picture vision before I start. So that's the skills that ISA taught you to look into a particular business and how to change before you look into the process of selection of technology. Right? Another question I would like to ask is, when you want to make a change, right? What's the first thing you do after you get your budget? You choose a solution from the market. You don't have to put out your hands, maybe it's wrong. Of course not, right? Are you buying a technology or are you building a digital capability? This has similarity but has a very different meaning. If you are buying a technology, I bought it, I put it into my company, that's it. But if you are building up a digital capability, you need to make a change into your enterprise. And the change Dr. Poo already mentioned just now. Look at your business context. Look at your business function. Do you have the people to run it? If you do not, why do you want to buy a technology? Right? Who are these people to actually running it? Are they blue collar, or are they age people, or are they low education people? Are they having the right education or capability to perform what you want them to perform? This is something that you need to manage, which is called a risk when you do a digital transformation. That's where it determines all the requirement in the business, in the data, then into the application, and also infrastructure. That determines the requirement that you need to gather before you look for a solution. Then I'll look into the toolbox, the list of AI software, which one is the best. When you select this one, do you have concern of knowledge and skill set in Malaysia? Or do you have the capability to hire people from overseas? You get what I mean? That determines the longevity of the capabilities. We maybe share about digital transformation. That reminded me about something. I worked in a company, a huge company before, and this EA went to the big boss and suggested SAP. Who thinks that SAP is very good here? Who thinks that SAP is not good here? So what do you think? Who uses SAP? Very good, very good. Some of you heard of SAP, right? The ERP, right? The technology itself is not important. The first thing that EA did was went to the boss and say, this is what we need to have. This is the cost that you need to pay. The boss will say, why do we need this? Can we perform what we can do today? What is the gap in the business that requires SAP instead of Excel sheet? You get what I mean? He is about to implement a few million to 10 million kind of investment, ringgit, of course, right? And he doesn't know why is he buying this. So because of the incapability of an IT architect, SAP lost the opportunity for this company. The boss said, I never want to hear this word anymore. I never want to see your face in this room anymore. That is how important of an IT architect inside an organization. It's not about software. It's not about process. It's about human. Similar to the cybersecurity. It's about human. Who drives it? So ladies and gentlemen, why am I talking about this? Eventually I started a business myself. I use the same knowledge I learned throughout ISA and also the Open Group. Right? I'm not showing off here. I convinced when I start a business I get a 500,000 for the first initial investment for me to start business. Why is this single person invested 500,000? Right? So after that, 6 months later, I got another investor to invest another 800,000. So enterprise architecture skill set is not about a skill that requires to work in a corporation, big corporation. It's not about a skill that you need to work for people. It's actually a skill that inbuilt within yourself, whether you carry a title of an IT architect or not. You need to be able to convince, which when you're at management level, you know this, right? You need to be able to lead, you need to be able to influence, you need to know the knowledge behind it. So there are 3 boxes over here. Of course, if you are coming from a different specific domain, you must have certain technical domain knowledge. If you're a business architect, you need to be well versed about that business. If you're a software architect, you need to be well versed about software methodology, software patterns, software tools, software technologies. If you are in data architect, you need to know what's a good practice about data management. Yeah? What is master data management? What's reference data management? What's metadata management? And all this. Those are technical domain knowledge. And second thing, Mr. Aaron Tan today said, yeah, if you are a software architect or any technical architect, you also need to be a business architect, right? It's actually referring to the business domain knowledge as well. If I'm in manufacturing line, I don't need to build a rocket for a company to win. I only need to build something that the rest of the competitor doesn't have. Am I right, ladies and gentlemen? So that's the domain knowledge that you need to have. What that person has and what you do not have. What's your unique selling point proposition? What's your Blue Ocean strategy? I recommend all of you to read a book called Blue Ocean Strategy. It's actually quite helpful. They actually have a framework for you to do analysis of your business. So something that you need to have. But with just technical domain knowledge and business domain knowledge, you are still lacking. You lack of an IT architect skill and knowledge. I'm not talking about title, I'm talking about skill and knowledge. You need to perform business value justification. You need to know an enterprise architecture method. How to run through the process. What is required. You need to know what is architecture design method. In enterprise architecture, we talk about the view of your business, you need to have diagram. There is somebody actually asked me this question just now. When we perform develop software, most of the time we say we want to have little documentation, am I right? Agile Scrum equals to no documentation. Yeah, that's what everybody say. And there's a pros and cons. I do think that if document is mainly for you to sign off and put into your storeroom, and actually you do not need it, right? What you really need is the view of your organization. That view is represented in a diagram. That diagram is supposed to be live, supposed to be updated frequently to represent what you have, so that when you want to make a change again, you do not need to go back to the drawing board and start analyzing again and again. So that gives you the ability to change. You still remember the video that Aaron Tani showed just now? Why enterprise architecture? Eventually, it's about the ability to change. So once you accumulated the enterprise architecture views, slowly you make a change, it's going to be faster and faster. But there is always a cost behind it. You can't really practice from end to end. You need to choose what is providing value for you to practice, what is not providing value for you to practice. Do you want to draw a diagram about your HR system? If I were you, I won't. One effort is to create, another effort is to maintain. Right? Do you want to create architecture about your core business? Yes, it's very important. It's your core. It might change anytime. You need to have the view all the time. Correct? So this is how you decide what is giving value and how do you practice it. And you need to test it. Yeah, a lot of people seldom test it. Yeah, you can actually do testing on your design before you implement, so that the cost of implementation will be, the risk of failure in implementation will be lower. Yeah, there are many methods online to actually do that. I don't have time to go through everything, but again, I have the contact detail. If you have questions, feel free. My pleasure to help. Or you can also talk to ADD on the course side. Yeah. Other than that, would be communication skill, leadership skill, and other necessary skill for you to engage. Yeah, perform the job and deliver it. Yeah. So ISA is a global IT architect non-profit association. Yeah, started in Dell actually. Yeah. One of the fellow is my idol, which is Angela Yokem, used to be CIO of Dell. Right. Back in 2002, ISA Malaysia started by Mr. Aaron Tani. Yeah. I think in 2009. Yeah. Today we have 10 years anniversary. Yeah. So we are actually here to cultivate the education of why IT architect is required, especially in this era. In digital era, everything is about system. System, if you purchase wrongly, is a cost. You can't sell, yeah, sorry. Although it's called intangible asset in your account, but there's no way that you can sell and refund it. So once you invest wrongly, I saw a lot of SMEs or some businesses They invested 800,000. They even look for their own developer in India to do it, but because they do not have the knowledge to complete the implementation, they actually make a loss in that kind of investment, just like that, like throwing into the water. Right? So it's very important that you know the skill sets. Okay? Otherwise, you won't have the ROI. Another association that you might want to know is called the Open Group. The difference between ISA and the Open Group is ISA teach about building an IT architect, which is high quality, to perform the job. The Open Group actually teaches you about method, framework. What's the language that you use to do drawing? Yeah, a lot of us we use UML, right? So there's an Archimate that I strongly suggest you to take a look because it's powerful. It can connect the drawing from motivation to business to data application and technology and all the way to implementation through diagram. Yeah, UML cannot do that. The process over here illustrates how do you perform your implementation starting from vision to design, B, C, and D, and to finding out matching the design with the solution available in the market, right? And once you find a match one, that's the one that you choose. But you can also choose to build it yourself. There is always a criteria, risk, yeah, risk as well as cost-benefit analysis that you need to perform in order to choose a solution. So this is how detailed it is, but it doesn't mean that it's taking a long time. Just let me show you another question. I have 5 minutes more. Let's take AI as an example. Today you want to implement AI. What do you want to implement? Just say one thing.
Customer experience.
Customer experience is the outcome. What do you want to implement? Let's say we go from something that you want to implement. I'm sure you have something that you want to implement, right? In AI?
Chatbot.
Chatbot, very good. That's the very popular implementation of AI today because it takes less cost compared to other stuff to implement, right? So, if you want to implement a chatbot, what's the benefit that you get from chatbot?
Faster.
Faster as in what?
Response times.
Response times of what? But what if your robot jumps to your customer? Fast doesn't give you any, right?
Take away
Let's talk about more monetary. We are very business today.
take away the routine, mundane.
Very good. Which function you want to take away from their routine work that can save money?
Some of
You can't cut stuff, not cut stuff. Move yourself to a more strategic position. That's a better word, right?
some of the call center functions.
Call center functions. Call center function is not supposed to be replaced entirely, right? Because maybe some FAQ, those. Have you done an analysis? What is the job that normally taken by your call center? I know Plus does. I think he's going to explain that as well. Are you?
Yeah.
No? Okay. So there are many questions or many calls to the call center asking general inquiries,
Same thing.
which can be replaced by just robot. Am I right? That saves a lot of money. And if you show the number with a lot of digits to your boss, the boss will say, please start tomorrow, I need it yesterday. You get what I mean? Right? So that's how we look at it now. You get buy-in already. What you need to prepare. We need to go through the process, right? First, we need to look into the business. Do you think that your business process will not be impacted? I think Dr. Pu also mentioned this just now. Your business process will be impacted, am I right? Would you allow a chatbot to work independently outside of your call center? You would not, right? What if the chatbot cannot answer the question? He has to type the connection to the human, am I right? So there's some kind of process impacted. You have to analyze, and who is the one that performing the role? Who is the one that monitoring the chatbot? If there's anything happen. So let me fast forward a little bit, since I don't have time. Data part, what's impacted? Your customer data must be digitized, right? Is your customer data standardized? Or is everywhere? If you have multiple businesses, this is the most challenging part. Because this one I have first name, last name, this one I have a first name, middle name, last name, this one I have only one name. Are they the same person or not? So that's the data element analysis. What do you really need to do first? There's a gap. We call it gap analysis. Application. Which application do you need to integrate? To be frank, I come from software development background, right? Implementing chatbot is about 1 day time. My CTO took 2 hours to do a POC. It's very easy. But the difficult part of chatbot is not about the technology part. It's about the storyboarding. And also, do you have time to train a robot? Is there anyone that already has the trained robot? And what's the system that you need to integrate so that the bot actually can understand? You see, Dr. Pu actually said, supply the data, supply the answer, so they can learn the rules. So these are all the things that you need to analyze before you even go into selecting a technology. It's not about Google Dialogflow. It's not about whatever Microsoft providing. It's not about whatever other vendors providing. It's about what you need and how does it help you. And of course, eventually, with all these that qualify to match your requirement, how much are they? Which one provide the better ROI for you? So these are the things that we will analyze and implement it. But the last thing we look at is, after you implement, do you really measure what it can do for you? Or you just, oh, I'm done with the project, oh, it's implemented, yes, it's online, okay, that's it. There's something called EA compliance analysis or assessment. We need to check the implemented and also the design is the same. First thing. The second thing is also the KPI, the SLA that you want to achieve is also up to your expectation. Otherwise, you have to do a change management. What is lacking? Do I need to scrap the project or do I need to continue to invest to get the results? This is a decision point that you need to make. So this is what an IT architect will get involved from end to end, but we have to be able to speak business. Yeah. So I won't go into this topic further. I'm being alerted with 2.0. So this is my contact. I'm contactable. But today, what I'm trying to sell to you is having a qualified, good quality of IT architect is very important, especially if your business is embarking on digital transformation. Because that person is important to run the transformation. If you're SMEs, right, you should be the one that actually run it and learn it. Because you can't, it's very expensive to hire professionals to do the job for you. What if he leave again? You get what I mean? So, ATD booth is at the bottom. I actually certified through ATD, so I think that's the best provider for ISA courses. Right, so if you have any questions, my mailbox is over there. Otherwise, I hope this helped you change your mindset, right? And thank you very much.
Okay, thank you to Christos for the sharing of his experience as an IT architect. So before we take a 15 minutes break, I would like to invite both Dr. Pu and for Crispa to give a token of appreciation. Okay, thank you, Crispa, and also Dr. Pu for the presentation. So we will take a 15 minutes break and we will come back at 3:30 p.m. Okay, in the meantime, if anyone wants to scan the QR code for the feedback form, you are welcome to do so. Instructors from Plus Malaysia's Berhad, so he will share his presentation about his actual journey to AI and analytics transformation, which is a marathon. Okay, yeah.
Not used to movement. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Teng Hui, or you can call me TH. Right. So I'm currently heading the artificial intelligence team in Plus Malaysia now. So in Plus, a lot of initiative are going on at the group, and the good thing is the changes from the top to bottom. Right. So I report to CTIO. So a lot of changes has come from the top directly from our MD Dato to my boss and to me. So it's really a lot of changes. Very soon you will see a very new smart highway. Okay. Right. So let me introduce myself. I actually graduated from artificial intelligence like 15, 16 years ago, right? So I still remember when I get graduated. I couldn't find any AI job at that time. And I still remember that time only MOS, there's a robotic and AI department, right? So that time AI is all about robotic. So the nearest job I can find is in Singapore. The government in Singapore. Yeah. So I can say Malaysia is quite slow in AI. Okay. Then you see there is a robot there. That is my top favorite when we talk about robot, human not robotic. Asimo, created by Honda, right? This is my LinkedIn. If you are active in LinkedIn, you can connect me. Quickly, THENG. Right. So this Asimo actually came to Malaysia. Luckily, I still can dig out some old photos here in 2003. That time in Mid Valley, there's no gardens yet, okay? There is an exhibition center at the top floor there. It's a white and white. It's all very simple exhibition hall, only one stage. So you can see this Asimo is doing something very, very incredible and amazing to everyone. I was just sitting there among the crowd there, okay, at the time. So what this robot doing is, you see there's a staircase on the stage. So I managed, very lucky, I managed to find one video that I would like to share with you. See the kids on the stage, I believe they are now in their age 20s, maybe, right? So this humanoid robot can actually mimic human gesture by that year, that time. It's very, very amazing. Use a lot of computer vision. See, even it can jumping with one leg. Okay? So this Asimo is very, very expensive. So eventually Honda didn't commercialize it, only used for industrial. That is the same case. Exactly the same performance happened in Mid Valley many years ago. So the balancing by the robot foot and it needs a lot of calculation there, right? Yeah, I have a colleague who actually from HR department. She always asks me, will I create a robot and destroy everyone? Right. So actually, we have 3 laws. I don't know, maybe you have heard of that. Law number 1 is robot cannot harm any human beings. Okay. The rule number 2 is the robot must obey human beings' orders without breaking rule number 1. And the last rule number 3 is the robot cannot destroy itself. It must protect itself without breaking rule number 1 and 2. Right? So these rules still stand until today. So, but unfortunately, Honda has announced to stop this Asimo project. So last year. So you will not see a new version of this AI humanoid robot anymore. Right? So if you are a movie lover, I believe you have maybe watched all this. So what I want to message here is the AI few years ago is different than the AI today. Right? If you're a movie lover, you can see the trend here. So the imitation game, there is a story about the Alan Turing. Alan Turing, we call him a father of AI here. You see the machine at the back there is actually the first intelligent machine. It's a decoder during the World War, right? So if you watch this artificial intelligence and the iRobot, you will see that is at the very early 21st century. It's all about robot. It's all about robot. And robot doesn't have feeling at all. There's no sentimental. The robot can even save an adult instead of a child or kids based on the survival rate. There's no sentimental at all. But when you see come to 2013, that is a very, very good movie talking about chatbot, right? This guy, the main actor, he eventually fall in love with the virtual assistant. Right? It's a female voice chatbot, right? So from the movie trend, we already know the AI has been changing from time to time. These 2 competition, I believe many of you have gone through this. The first one during my very young time, IBM Deep Blue, right? And it beats Gary Kasparov, the chess player. Then the reason here is the AlphaGo beat Lee Sedol. I found these 2 competitions very interesting and funny because usually we won't remember the loser's name, right? But in here, we know, remember, right? But these 2 competitions carry an important message, right? It actually showcase how AI technology has been come out from a winter. There's actually a winter time for AI, right? But through this showcase, we know what we can do already for AI. So it's totally different. Like last time, what Deep Blue is about all the rule-based system. It's a lot of if-else, okay? But in AlphaGo, it has been changed. It's about deep learning, right? So from the past to modern AI, like when I study AI, a lot of rule-based, a lot of expert system, and there's even one programming language called Prolog. I'm not sure you have heard of that or not, Prolog. And it's something very amazing that time. There's not top-bottom like your Java or C# programming. It's a different programming language. It's a declarative. It's like how it works like your brain, the human brain. You can quickly get the answer, right? So people often ask me, what is the machine learning and what is AI? Okay, so I get this from a Twitter, Joe Davidson. Right, when you are fundraising, it is artificial intelligence, very simple. Right, when you are hiring, it is actually machine learning. So when you are doing this, it is a statistical algorithm only. So it's no matter it's logistic regression or whatever regression. Right, so AI today is really rely on data. So you might heard of data is the new oil, is the new oxygen, data is the king. How many of you has already think you have data in your company? Right? You might come to a question, is my data enough or not? Right? And what kind of data I need to prepare, right? For me to embark the AI. Right? So in Plus, we have a lot of data. And when I joined this company, it's really a lot of data. We have sensors along the stretch of the highways, but it's already sitting there like more than 10 years, I can tell you. 10 years, some even 20 years. Nobody make use of the data, right? So its data is just sitting there silo in a dark area, then our customer, which is might be you all, the highway user, do not have the chance to access the data, right? So what we have, for example, we have CCTV, of course. Along the highway, we have 1,910 CCTV sitting along our main line, our toll plaza, and our, the RSA, the REST services area. So all this CCTV is for our customer safety. From there, we have a bunch of unstructured data already, right? We also have, AVDS, the Automated Vehicle Detection System. Which is very, very good sensor along our NKV, but it's still sitting there, right? So it gives us what? It's like traffic counting. We can know how many cars at certain time, even the bumper-to-bumper distance, and how is the average speed of the vehicles, and a lot of things. Even the vehicle height. We also have weather data, so we know the water level. Some tunnels along the highway always flood, so we have all these kind of sensors. Then we also have the weight in motion. So our customer, like those are truck driver or company, fleet management company, they are giving us a lot of problem actually, right? Because first is the heavy vehicle, and a lot of the driver doesn't follow the rules. A lot of accident caused by them, right? All these are a lot of initiative want to prevent this happen in the future, right? So even they don't park their vehicle properly at the roadside, all this. So we wanted to leverage on the technology today, and plus the enforcement unit, which is, when I say enforcement, because Plus Highway is not an enforcement unit, we just a highway operator. We need the collaboration, we need the help from the enforcement unit like the police, for example, or the bomber, right? They are the enforcement. Even today I saw a car with this car plate number. They have a robbery case in Ipoh, then they run to the highway, come to KL, and we cannot do anything. We can report to police. We need to do this integration, right? Modernization also a very, very important chapter. When your company ready for AI, but look at the modernization first. This is a very, very first step. Why I say so? Because when I took over this job, I found out that in Plus, such a 20 to 30 years legacy corporate, still a lot of manual process. Okay? For example, we have a call center, we call it traffic monitoring center, right? So this is a very special call center. And we also have Plus Wonder. When you travel on the highway, if you break down for some issue, you just call the 1-800 line. So Plus will help you for free, right? So all this process is still doing it in a very manual way. People still doing phone call, jot down, write down with a paper, okay? It's still in handwriting. So it's such a painful when you want to implement AI, not even AI. You haven't started digitalization journey yet, right? So have to step by step. So the very first step is the modernization. Here carry a lot of meaningful more than digitalization. So not only the process, the people, the mindset, right? So AI is always equal to innovation. So when we talk about innovation, you have to spend money on technology, right? But when you spend money on technology, then your CFO or my CFO always question me. You ask for a few million for this technology, then how I need to justify? What is the ROI? All these finance officer, no offense, all these finance officer, they only look at the figure, very straightforward. Okay? From their financial old book in their school, they have been taught that this is the figure. Okay? They must have this balance, right? I ask you a question. Do you think your staff, your employee in the company is an asset or not? What do you think? Is an asset or not? We all think, human resource is totally an asset to the company. But to finance people, sorry, no. They are liabilities. Because the books taught that right? So the only corporate or organization that treat human as an asset is what company? Manchester United, Liverpool, those football club, right? They transfer a player is like how many millions there, right? That is the only business that treat human as an asset. So when you do a lot of this digitalization, transformation, a lot of things involve money, right? So you might be not sure. Oh, you spend this kind of money, what is the ROI? Always ROI. So we look at values, like the president, Mr. Chris, always mention about the business value. So we have to use the value to justify it, right? I give you an example, like the Airbnb. So you see Airbnb compared to the Hilton Group. What is the value? The value is they don't own any units of rooms, but they have the business value there, right? So this kind of thing happens same in Plus as well. Analytics also a very, very important element here when you do this AI, because it's all about data. And once you collected the data, how are you going to present it to your business user? So my challenge every day is the business user. So in Plus, I speak two languages. One is technical, the other side is the business. So I have to close the gap between these two, the business and the technical side. So when I talk to the business user, what they care about is always their reporting, right? I talk to Mr. A from a toll department, for example. Oh, they only concerned about how much toll I have collected for today, for example, or this hour, right? Along the highway, we have a highway more than I think 1,000 kilometers from Penang Bridge Plus to Second Bridge JP. So they only care about like in their day-to-day operation, they need to know the trend. If you can let them see what is the trend, what is the pattern of their data, they will be more interested. If not, like I go and ask, hey, Mr. A, how can I help you to do the prediction, right? Then I ask Miss B from, let's say, the strategy department, what can you tell me which column is more important? I can help you do the feature engineering, for example, right? Then so that you can forecast next year what is your revenue, right? For example. So all these they just ignore me first because they don't understand yet what AI or what machine learning can help in the business, right? So what you need to do is help them to visualize their data first. So analytics is very, very important. For example, I give you one more example, like in Plus. From the toll data, we can see a lot of patterns. With a simple clustering techniques, we can see like there's a weekend picker, or there's a weekday also we have a morning picker, evening picker, or double picker, right? And in the city and the urban and the suburban area is all different, right? Because Plus Highway cross from a very long stretch and from city and outside city also got. So you can see a lot of different patterns. Oh, when you show them this kind of analytics diagram, they are so excited, you know, because how they do things today is, I believe maybe it still happen in some SME, like people still using Excel, for example. No offense here, I know maybe some Excel expert here. But imagine when they open a 4 million number of rows, it hangs. Unless you upgrade your laptop or your PC, right? Then when they look at this kind of advanced analytics, then they can simply change from A to B, from what door to what door. Then the graph changed. Everything changed. Wow, the user is like so happy, I tell you. So this is kind of like things that can inspire your business user, right? Inspire them, they will tell you what they need after that. They sure will tell you what they wanted more and more after that, right? So from there you can slowly guide them, work with them, collaborate with them. I guarantee there's no issue anymore, right? Because you guys are talking in the same language now, right? Yeah, dashboard. Dashboard is always like a one piece of report that our every business user looking for, right? Imagine you want to buy a car, you walk in a car showroom, so you want to ask those technical questions. I open the boot, I want to see the engine, how the engine works, how many cylinders. No, you probably the common question is like, what is the design, what is the brand, what is the colors, right? This kind of very basic features, right? Before you look into the technical details. Or when you started interested, then only you can see, you want to see some technical shit, and you look at the engine, those kind of things. So exactly same thing happened here. Imagine you are driving your car on the highway. Your speedometer tells you what? Your current speed. Is it real time? It's very near real time, right? And you have a RPM as well, right? RPM telling you your engine is working or not, right? Then you have so many indicators like the temperature, you have even like the something insights we call like your fuel consumption. Wow, you see your car got fuel consumption, tell you how now you have right on the highway how many kilometers, then you have consumed how much of fuel. This kind of insights. So the same concept you apply to your dashboard, right? So from the simple analytics to advanced analytics, then now the user will ask for some insights, which is you can manipulate from your data, from your collected data, right? So a lot of things you can extend from here already. So dashboard is very, very important because it is like a one picture, one summary of everything that user wants. So if you're not sure you are doing the right things or not, ask your user, or ask your customer, right? They will tell you. Okay, data and AI strategy. Any one of you has come out a strategy for your company or your customer? Right? So I want to share one here, which is this one is designed by me in Plus, but I think more or less is something similar to everyone. The Dr. Poo can add on later. Right? So we have many silo data. I believe every corporate will have this. We have operation data, traffic safety data, we have HR data, right? We even have strategy data, toll data. Too many of silo data. People just working on their data, with their data. The Excel sheet they open only that data they have. They don't look at other department data, right? So what we wanted to do here, we want to batch process it, everything dumped into one data lake. Data is output here, right? So the data will contain garbage in. We want to keep everything because machine learning, we want to keep outliers as well, right? It's not data warehouse. Data warehouse is clean, it cleans everything ready for your analytics. So this one is garbage in. Then we can do a diagnostic or descriptive analytics here, right? It's very, very straightforward. Next, what is the next section? This is always start in Plus, right? So people have no idea what is machine learning yet, right? We don't even touch deep learning. Of course, the CCTV use deep learning. We just say intelligent, right? So you see, when we want to guide the business user come, we want to move to the next stage. After we got the data right here, every business user can do whatever analytics they have now. You know, how is the response? They are so excited. The toll department now can see what? Can see others' data. You know, cross department now, cross data. They don't have to one by one by their objective or by their use case to go and do the cleaning, no need. They just pull from this link. Okay, then the next one is machine learning. Machine learning, here we need the feature engineering and the modeling happens. How it happens? Now we need the domain expert to step in. Okay, let's say we want to do something on toll data, for example. Then I need the toll expert come in. The toll expert will tell me what is the features actually is required. Right? What are they actually looking for this when they're working on the toll data, for example. Okay, when the traffic safety department, what they do, how they monitoring the car accident, right? All this accident data. And then we need a data scientist to step in here. So the data scientist will do the modeling here, right? So currently my team is not big, very small yet, because we want to take a small step, but an impactful step, right? Then we will have a trend model here. It's a trend model. But I can tell you, this trend model, it might correct, it might be valid maybe this week only, or maybe this month only. Why? Because the new event always happen. There is always a new kind of accident on the highway, for example. Okay, today we have chemical spill. Okay, maybe next day we have even something we haven't met before. And then your model will get disrupted. You have to retrain again with the new data set. This is a reality, okay? It always happens. So when you get the model, we can say we are at the predictive stage now. We have the machine learning modeling. We have the model now. Okay? Different use case, different model. Okay? But it's still not yet AI. Okay? So to me, when all this data comes in live streaming, and we can process it real time, in a very near real time, then only AI. Okay? Imagine waste. We all are the sensor to waste. We collect data, throw to waste. So waste will process. It can tell you in near real time, right? How is the traffic, right? Like last few weeks, I talked to the waste country manager. He told me there's actually like a 30 to 45 minutes delay in waste. Well, I believe from experience, it might be say jam, but when you go there, the jam already clear. So there are still some, but 30 to 45 minutes to me is still acceptable, right? But maybe in highway, no. Even 3 minutes you can run very far already. It's a different use case here, right? So when your model, your strategy come to real time, then we can call it AI prescriptive now. We can even now manage back our traffic. We can even control our customer. We open a time frame or we give a special door, for example. All this is in our roadmap now. So people will come to the highway for peak hours. For peak hours, we don't encourage people to come to the highway. Sorry. For low peak hour, we will encourage people to come to the highway. So we want to manage back the traffic instead of our customer driving the traffic, right? This is what we call this is our end game. Right, so looking at the current market, actually you can see a lot of cloud provider today. They have some people call it fake AI, but I call it easy AI, right? Because it's very easy to use now. You see the three big brands here, Microsoft, Azure, AWS, and GCP. They all have all these very good API. They can fulfill all these use cases. The NLP images, video, sentimental analysis, and predictive modeling. So you can feel free to use already. It's all open source. Like you see the machine learning open source layer, there's a TensorFlow and there's a lot of library inside Python itself. So all these are open source. Then we also have the data layer. You can see MongoDB for NoSQL and the rest for the SQL, right? So all these are pretty achievable. I can say it's a manageable AI here. So no issue. Don't stop your AI project. You can straight start away. Just choose any cloud that you think you have the capability, right? So you can start small project, but scalable on this cloud architecture. This is one of the way. So this is one of the approach we took as well. Of course, our solution have to be sometimes have to be cloud agnostic because our data is huge. So when it comes to the bill, my CFO jumping down again, right? Okay, so talking about AI project is how AI project is different from a traditional project here. So as you see, we have to retrain and retrain with old data and plus a new data set. All this is repeatable and it's a loop here. You can see so many loops here. So one thing I want to mention here is this one, the performance. How you measure your KPI. How you measure KPI is very important. Right, I give you a case study here, like when we found out our call center, one day is like 1,500 number of calls come in. That is a normal weekday. If there's a long weekend or there's a festival like the Raya is coming, like the festival is to 2,500 a day. It's very huge. People keep calling 1,800. Okay, then I drill down and see. So what is a frequently asked question? So people, our customer will ask, I'm going to Ipoh now. How is the traffic? Right, for example. Oh, I forgot my password. How can I log in my Plus Miles? I want to check my points. All this is non-emergency questions. Okay? Which I believe today very simple chatbot can handle. Right? So you can cut out a lot. You know that 1-800 call we have to pay TM how much? Right? To customer it's free, but to corporate, to enterprise it's not free. Right? And people, we have 3 shifts in the call center, 24 hours, 3 shifts, 8 hours per shift. People have to OT, and we need more manpower during the festival season. All this is KPI measurable. Make sure you find out before and after you implement your AI solution. It's something you need to find out something measurable, right? This is how you measure your success of your project. If the numbers does not match your expectation, something is wrong. You have to go back to your business use case, right? Oh, this one is also very interesting topic when we debate a lot in the business discussion. So like, you know, call center, for example, call center is a very good example here. So when people ask for help, does it okay go to chatbot? Right? It is an emergency case, for example, your car get hit by someone or your car break down on the highway. So it's still like, you know, we still need some human touch here, right? So we divide. So emergency and non-emergency. Non-emergency give all to the robots. So the robot can 24/7 and very consistent, no emotional affected also, right? So for the emergency case, people, you know, when we call I need help or they want chat in the messenger or they want chat in the WhatsApp, people will still call 1-800. So we found out that our agent, the agent inside the call center, will have more quality time to handle all these emergency cases, right? So why we always put human as a last escalation? Because AI today is not really so intelligent. They are being trained for a certain task. It is very use case oriented, right? So it's out of the robot's knowledge. It will just don't know. So when you design your AI solution, you must put a last escalation to the human, right? So anything's not in the robot's answer or cannot handle by the robot, by the AI. So you must go back to the human. For example, I give you one more example. Our car plate is a very interesting topic always. You know, our car plates, we have so many different font, right? Different style. Anyone want to guess how many car plates we have in Malaysia? Sorry? 100 is too far low. I give you 3 options. A, more than 1,000. B, more than 2,000. C, more than 3,000. So when we train our camera, the CCTV, when we train our AI in the CCTV, you know how difficult we push up the accuracy because of this data set. So the answer is C, more than 3,000. A lot of different coverage we have. Why? Because we cannot blame the regulator, right? Since day one, our coverage is fixed by our kedai, which is nearby to our house, or your car seller. So we have to solve this. So how we have to solve this? Right? When the AI doesn't recognize the couplet, what we do? We have to escalate to human. Only human will know. Right? Some people put the 1 and 3 very near, like a B, for example. Right? Some they have a very fancy font. Or some even have a not complete one because the number dropped already. All this is a real life challenge to us. So how? We have to design. The last line, escalate to human. Only human will know what number is this. So the human will input the correct answer to the AI. So the AI will pick up from there. Okay, now the AI knowledge has been enriched by human. Right? So when you design AI, it's always come from human. So only human know the answer. Okay. Next. Okay, right. So, being a tolling industry, we wanted to leverage on technology now. We want to make use of data to manage our traffic, to relieve some congestion to our customer. Because customer can pay money and go to highway and get jammed, which we don't want to see this, right? So we want to leverage on technology instead of going back to the legacy, the traditional way. How? We just extend the highway, make more lanes, for example. So we don't want this. We want to cut down these kind of activities and make use of today's technology to give a value added, a safety and convenience journey to our customer, right? Yeah, this is I think it's my last slide. Any questions? Right, if no, thank you everyone, and you can still connect to me after this also, right? All right, thank you everyone.
So
Thank you, Dej, for the insightful sharing of his experience. So I would like to invite our last speaker for today. So Dr. Arifin Marzuki is a hospital management system coordinator / medical lecturer / consultant in cardiothoracic anesthetologist of University Science Malaysia. So basically, he will share his presentation entitled Technology, Innovation and Healthcare Synopsis. Okay,
Thank you. Actually, hi, good afternoon. I'm standing between you and going home, so not a good place to be. What do you call that? I'm just going to make a modification of the presentation because just how to put into what do you call context of how an enterprise architecture plays a role in innovation technology. I'm going to be specifically talking about healthcare. So majority of people, when they saw me, they assume that I'm a PhD holder. I'm a real-life medical doctor. This is how I look like when I'm doing my work, glasses and mask. Nobody remembers me. The main reason for that because anesthesia has got three main components, which is what is mentioned there. So anesthesia means you won't be awake, analgesia is not painful, and amnesia you don't remember it. So if you're sleepy and you don't remember this lecture, that's okay. That's me with my primary role. But it will not be painful. I can assure you that. Why? Because this is how my customer feedback is. It's not staged. So today I'm going to talk about technology, innovation, and healthcare. And what role does an enterprise architecture or business architecture? I'm a business architect. I'm a CITA A for that. And because of the work that I do before, I had to go through TOGAF 9.1. Haven't converted to 9.2 yet, and I'm also COVID 5 Foundation certified. Now, just to bring everything on the same, everybody on the same page. An invention is when you invent new things. Like in this example, too sensitive. It's got a mind of its own. So this is an invention. This guy is not really that famous because imagine if you are examining a beautiful lady, you want to do this, isn't it? Put your ear to the chest. But this guy actually invented this. No, that was supposed to be a joke. In medical, we don't like Lumiere because he invented this, so nobody can actually listen to anybody's chest now. Now, this is how a stethoscope looks like, and this is how a stethoscope looks like today. And if you see that it has changed over the years, so this is what evolution is. Something was invented and it goes into an evolution. Now, KKM and a small startup actually did this. This is what we call the Stethoscope Pro. This is a AI-enabled stethoscope that actually looks into the phonogram, and then you can give diagnosis also. You see, that's the reason why I have to convert to IT architecture because doctors might be out of work after this. Nah, I'm just joking. But in reality, now medicine is a very human vertical industry. Meaning that you go to the hospital, you don't expect to see a robot, isn't it? You will go there, you see a doctor, the doctor actually looks you over, within 30 seconds writes something eligible, and then you have to go to the pharmacist to get medication, isn't it? And that happens after waiting for about like 6 hours, correct? But that's the current status of how healthcare is today. Now the problem is, we have what we call the fourth industrial revolution, and this is an example of what happens in medicine. When Röntgen first, invented X-ray, now we have sort of like a RISPEC, radiology information system, and a picture archiving system, which is actually run by, again, since the artificial intelligence. Intelligence is artificial, so it's supposed to be doing the work of the doctor. But actually, what it does is that it's just recognizing pattern recognition of the DICOM images. So you see that even in medicine, who is very tightly regulated, is having evolution and innovation. And now people expect that, using the bank as an analogy or Uber, they expect that doctors are available 24/7. For your information, I have a life too. And it doesn't entail, answering 3 o'clock calls and I say, I'm busy. Should I take a Panadol? I say, yeah. It's worse when it's your mom calling. You want me to go and examine you now? Can you go to the emergency? No. Right. And people expect that, Star Trek, somebody or a robot will be able to see you and diagnose whatever that you have. And that's not happening yet. But I just want to give some illustrations. Now, user interfaces, or the graphical user interface, is not that well, received anymore. This is what we are doing now. But my colleagues are screaming for this. He looks at the CT scan, MRI, have an augmented reality that is sold by Philips in the angiography suit that costs about 80 billion ringgit. Hello, because people are looking for augmented reality, and then people will always say, "You're an enterprise architect. Why can't we do something like Pokemon?" I go to the patient and say, "Hey, hi, Mr. So and so, and this is what we can't. Why?" Is the biggest question. The next one, the Internet of Things. In medical, we have a parallel. We call it Internet of Medical Things. Everybody here has got a skill. Anybody here doesn't have a skill? A weight scale? It's intelligent, isn't it? You don't have a weight scale, my God. It's sort of like, hooks up to your phone and tells you what's your BMI for today. And we always swear at it, say, that was 35 yesterday, I ran, and now it's still 36. Forgetting about the nasi lemak. So, yeah. Now, one of the projects that we are working in USM is actually how to come up with a bandage that actually regulates the environment of the wound, so that we accelerate wound healing and deliver medication. So that's one of the Internet of Things. Our issue is that one of the things, you have commercial grade applications and devices, you got medical grade devices. Well, the price difference is probably 200 to 300 fold. You have a weight scale, which is, commercial, costs about what? 5 ringgit in a store, made in China. And then you go off medical grade scale, also made in China, but because got medical grade, costs about 500 ringgit, correct? Go to pavilion and see. They sell it there. So it's very, now you see the difference between that, or the similarity, which is, if you want to see it. Now, I like this one, artificial intelligence. Everybody's so worried that they're not going to be working. But what we are looking at now is that probably we can have an avatar of the doctor. Meaning that if you have a question about headache, you can go to the chat box. And the chat box will tell you, take 2 Panadol, it doesn't disappear within half an hour, go to the emergency department. Or something like that, isn't it? And then after that, you escalate to the poor doctor who's trying to get some sleep. But that's, at the end of it, you still have to escalate to the human being, just like what mentioned just now, isn't it? Right. Now, the next one is actually this one. Before this, orthotics and prosthetics are done. It's actually, you put it there and then, like Jack Sparrow. Yeah. But nowadays, people are looking at, putting microchips in it, and then there's pressure sensors, accelerometers, EMGs, neurosensors that you can actually work towards it. So these are actually a few of the challenges. Now, problem is, there's another one, 3D printing. So I said, we can actually print certain things. I met this with a researcher in our main campus that has what we call an organ on chips. So they actually have lattices that they 3D print, and then they actually do a cell culture. So you can have a liver chip, lung chip, and things like that. So you might ask me, what's the use? So the use is actually we do a pre-phase 0 trial, meaning that we want to see what is the toxic dose of the chemical to that cell. So before we inject it to the poor mouse, because we want to determine the lethal dose and the effective dose, so we can do it on the chip first. Kill off the cell before we kill off the mouse. You will be amazed how much animal rights are actually fighting towards all this humane treatment of mouse. For heaven's sakes, you know. It's not all mouse are ratatouille, isn't it? Anyway, but we try to go beyond that. So these are all the challenges that we are facing, and there's a lot of constraints now. Talk about readiness for change, you know, competency. Talk about AI when the staff is trying to decipher the doctor's writing. You know, it's just it won't work. Capital investment, we don't have money. The government doesn't have money. As an agency, it's sort of like falls down. Maintenance is very high. We have one hospital that actually bought a robot. Unfortunately, the surgeon died and the robot can't be used. So what's the capital investment? But you still rely on the doctor. You know, the robot cannot replace a doctor. And then there's this complexity about service level agreements and things like that. So these are all the challenges. So what I'm going to, the next part of the presentation is actually going through. I mean, this was brought up this morning and said what happened to the 7307 dashboard. It's just a bug, but it kills people. So in a hospital, you don't want this happening. You know, like you want to take off the tumor of the technology might change that, take out the head from the tumor. Obviously, nobody wants that, isn't it? So I'm just going to share with you what I'm doing. This is by the way my hospital. It's about 35 years old, 800 bedded, very old. We are moving towards modernizing it and re-strategizing it. So what are the roles that the enterprise or my team is doing? I'm the only one certified, but what I'm doing now is developing a team, a multidisciplinary team that works together to do certain things for the hospital. Now, our esteemed speaker just now said he has to speak two languages. Technical and finance, I have to speak at least 3 languages. I'm not talking about Kelantan, Bahasa Melayu, and English. The one is a clinical language, because all the healthcare professionals, and there's this species named doctors. Terrible species. I'm one of them. So that's how I know. The next one is actually the financiers, the financial, and last is the administrators. So all these people actually speak 3 different languages. So trying to hurt them is like trying to hurt a werewolf. You know, you have a werewolf and you want to hurt a werewolf. So if you get beaten, then you become one of them. So if you see me talking to a financial manager talking about GL, charts of account, general ledger, things like that, talk to the nurses, what hand washing, hospital for infection. Talk to the administrators trying to get the strategic trust to work and things like that. So you really have to change. And that's one of the roles that I play as a bridge. Right. Now, the first thing that we did is actually identify what core services or activities that we do. And we find that the hospital is actually a unique hospital because we're not just delivering service, but we're also looking at research and innovation, looking at education and learning. And then this is actually the front end. This is the front end. But you must understand that these are the other 3 things that everybody always sort of like forgot. Because when they write the paper, they don't look into the information management. And because until something breaks, then only they think about money is needed to make the asset. So what we need to do is actually, once we have identified and visualized this, we have to look into the governance and the ethics, which is actually foundation. That's why it's down there, not because it's not important. And after that, doing the communication and all the intangible things, looking to the relationship, time, and communication. Now, what happens then is that we sort of like put up the outcome. What will be the outcome and what is our strategic trust? And since the organization is not as mature, they're not familiar with outcomes and things like that, so we put it disguise it as a mission and vision statement. But if you look at it, it's not a mission and vision statement, it's an outcome statement. But what the hospital is going to do is that we are going to transform healthcare for a sustainable tomorrow because we are in the health education industry. So we are not about delivering health, but we are actually educating the future competent healthcare provider. We're looking to competencies. And then these are all the outcome, and then we have all this trust. So now what we're doing now is like putting everybody, okay, this is what we're going to do. And we understand about if somebody is trained in lean, you can see that these are similar to what a lean house looks like. You've got the pillars and you've got your steps. And these are the foundations of what our critical success factor. This is actually the 5 what we call path that we are going to go through so that we become what we wanted to be. And from here, we have only 3 outcomes. We want to be a resilient organization. We want to have a just culture in the digital boundariness. And we do this because the staff, if I were to stop like this in front of the staff, they would just go like, they do that, stupor. No response. So what we say is that our main focus is that we are looking at patient safety. That's number 1. Because patients is very dangerous in the hospital. We want to reduce the adverse, events that occur, you want to inject the medication, instead you ask the patient to drink it, not something not good, and adverse events will happen, and then can lead to mortality. Somebody can die from it. In fact, we had a few incidences that we had to investigate before that. Staff safety program. Hospital is a very dangerous place. You can actually inadvertently stick the needle to you after sticking it to somebody else. We found needles inside our waste basket just because somebody didn't remember that the needle shouldn't go there. So the waste disposal. So the guy actually come up and then got a needle inside there. So it's very dangerous. Now, we have to look into the environment of care safety because the environment must be safe. Research education because it's our part of our main core. Resource management, and we put something here or down there because that's actually the foundation of things. We want to look into the artifacts and things like that. I'm going to share a few artifacts after this. And from here, we actually go into competency building. The cheapest way to start is actually not to use any money, but sell off your saliva. i.e. Food is very cheap in Kelantan, so 5 to 7 ringgit per head. So that's actually the cost of education. Internally, I run about 16 baking or workshops for our staff, so that they are up to par, so that they understand about process improvement, enterprise architecture, and such. And once you finish on the competency building, we go and see inside the wards. How are you delivering care? What is the infrastructure like? We have our framework to do that. And then after that, once we do that, once we have all this information, we can actually engage more staff. If you notice, the people inside the slides are getting more and more. And majority of them are wearing this purple uniform, in various hues. The hospital employs about 3,000 staff. 1,600 of them are, guess what? Nurses. So a nurse breaks or operates the hospital. So if the nurses are engaged, then any initiative that you run, it will be successful. So that's actually targeted. So if you want to do some changes or transformation, you need to know which are the people who's closest to your customer. In our case, it's our patient. We already identified the centricity. Now we are identifying the person closest. Doctors only see the patient, if they are very good, they see maximum 3 times a day. Trust me, I know. I'm one of them. The higher they go, they won't see every day also. If you go to hospital, the doctor that you see are probably house officers. But not in USM. We are changing that. So we are having more consultants to see the patients, right, because of the teaching activity. Now, this is one example. You see the hospital just now, and this is 2 of the meta model that we actually created. This is the introductory view of the hospital. This is actually the data objects this is the financial data object. This is the patient demographic, and this is the safety or quality meta models. The data object. Purposely is made so that you can't see it. Actually, we share it in Mafu, so we can actually. So this is actually the events. This is when I talk to doctors, I actually talk to them on this side. When I talk to administrators, talk to them on this side. And this is actually the services, and this is actually what the doctors do. And this is actually the systems or the application layer, and this is actually the technology layer. So they always think that I'm sort of like a hypocrite. Whenever I talk to them, I use this and I highlight it from their perspective. See? So the ITs will understand that when they see all these nodes and the hardware and the software and the hardware and networks and the nodes, and this one they see all the applications, application collaboration, application interface and things like that, and then you look at looking at the services. So you see, enterprise architect does not only do the artifacts that goes into the repository. We actually get involved from the start, doing the assessment of the organization, and then doing the strategy of it, give input, not doing it, because I only facilitate the team. And then after that, we go through the strategic planning, sponsor that, so that it goes through the management and governance, and then design the project. So this is what we do. And I like this book from Mark Lankos. It says the role of the enterprise architect is actually to build models, present the views to the stakeholders, engage them by presentations like this, but talk in a way that you can actually be understood, and do analysis. We put up measures and things like that. And so this actually covers or sort of like make it give an overview of what we do in terms of business architect, information order, technology architect. Right. So in healthcare, just to sum up what I've mentioned just now, because the healthcare is not static as it was before, but right now we have to incorporate or sort of put together in its proper place, in a proper context, technology and innovation, so that it works seamlessly together, just to achieve the patient's expectation, and also not only the patient's expectation but also the staff expectation, because everybody thinks that waste can actually be used in healthcare. The healthcare applications should be as simple as a waste, which I agree, except that we're not there yet. The reason why we're not there yet because we haven't got all this. So right now, as an update, we just got our approval from the Kementerian Pendidikan, and now we're going towards a request for information, request for proposal for the hospital system and also the ERP. So probably after this, if you're in the business, you can look it up in the newspaper and then bid for it, and we'll work together to do it. So I hope I've given you an overview, sort of like tie together what you've seen over the day and see the real example here. Elevate on the model part first and look into the competency building, but have something to take away. So thank you very much. And,
Thank you, Dr. Arifin, for the insightful and fun presentation. Okay. So based on the last presentation, we passed the last for today. So before we end our day, I would like to first invite Puan Sarina, community members of ISA Research Chapter, to give a token appreciation to our speaker today. Okay, so I would like to invite TH to next, I would like to invite Dr. Arifin for the token of appreciation. Okay, this marks the end of today's session. So I would like to thank everyone for allocating their time for today. So we will see you the next event. Have a safe trip. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and bye.
Assistant Director for ICT for the Strategic Development and Architecture Division of Mampu. And we'd like to invite Dr. Nolida binti Ramli. Yeah, she's the Senior Principal Assistant Director of ICT Strategic Development and Architecture Division of Mampu. So I will hand over the mic to Mr. Hassan. Yeah, we have 30 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, selamat petang. Apa khabar semua? Alhamdulillah. Okay. So today we'll be sharing, okay? Ini sesi sharing lah. Maknanya kita santai-santai lah. Janganlah tanya soal yang susah-susah pula. Okay. So basically we have talked about the importance of EA in our digital transformation and so on. Okay. Cuma just now there were questions from the floor asking what di mana tahap EA, the adoption, we don't see it, and things like that. Okay. So anyway, every agency have their own maybe plan, okay, that they want to do EA, because EA is important for you to move to the next level. Okay, I'm sure everybody nak buat digital transformation. Okay, so you need to know where to start. So similarly in EA, there are maybe many ways to start lah. Okay, so on. So kalau you tanya ATD start dengan apa? Dia suruh buat training dulu. Dia suruh buat training dulu. Kalau you tanya vendor, dia akan cakap apa? Belilah tools dulu. Okay, so on lah, so different. But today, Malaysian government has come out with a new grade, okay, which is called MyGov-A, Malaysian Government Enterprise Architecture. So at least now, the government has some kind of standard way or standard ways of doing EA implementation. Okay. So to start with, maybe I'll get our panelists. Quickly just introduce yourself. Okay. What do you do and so on. I mean, apa yang you buat lah. I mean, business ke, architect ke, apa ke. And then maybe you can share on how was the journey that you have done before, or your involvement in some agencies who have done EA. How actually they jumpstart, okay, in their EA journey lah. Okay, so maybe I'd like to invite, apa nak cakap dulu? Kita bagi orang yang baru lah kan. Just to share how have they done their EA journey, okay, share the insights on their jumpstart lah, how they jump. Okay, with this, I invite Dr. Nolita to start off.
Terima kasih, Jackson. Assalamualaikum dan selamat petang. Nak berkenal rasanya semua orang.
Kalau kenal.
Okey, saya Nolita binti Ramli daripada bahagian strategi arkitektur ICT. So, jenis saya lah, saya nak tahu jenis start BEA ni because rasanya sebahagian dah tahulah saya pada mulanya jenis saya tu 2016. Masa tu KPKT dengan mampu lah pilot untuk fasa 1 EA. So daripada situlah saya mula terjebak dalam pelaksanaan EA ni. Dan tapi pada pandangan saya lah dan pengalaman ni sesuatu yang sangat menarik sebab you actually contribute something for the organisation. And then daripada 2016 tu apa yang saya harapkan, actually kita buat fasa 1 tu 9 bulan je. But what yang saya harapkan sangat ialah supaya budaya tu, pelaksanaan EA tu sustain dekat KPKT, sustain dekat mampu, so that we can get more from EA. Itu je lah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat petang. Dr. is the brand. Nama penulis Istiana. Saya start join EA ni in 2016 bila saya habis study masuk mampu. At that time EA baru start fasa 1, sembak fasa 1. So ada conjive sikit lah dengan study, my study. So at that time kita start building the foundation of EA in the government. So dah ada blueprint. So the way that we do things is that kita bagi capability development dulu for the core team dekat mampu, and then kita perluaskan pada agency semua agency last year. So between 2017 and 2018 kita build the repository and kita bagi tools lah untuk how to digitalize the EA. Since then, kita dah buat with a lots of awareness session dengan ministry and agency individually dan juga SMS lah in series of workshops, seminars. Tapi because I think I'm not very sure, tapi masa saya masuk tu, the understanding is EA is an IT project. So understanding tu dah boleh kata menular lah pada agensi-agensi sebagainya, dan bukan hanya dia mampu. So to change the mindset of EA is not an IT project takes quite a hurdles of on our side yang juga an IT people to lead the EA implementation in the public sector. So rasanya tahun ni kita ada sedikit enforcement lah, kita kata enforcement by using the authority given by KSN, by our ministers. Kita take the top down lah, top down approach, leveraging on transformation. So kita kata EA is for you to use, helps in terms of managing your change in the transformation lah. So tahun ni alhamdulillah buy-in at the top level, KSU kementerian, even ministers boleh terima pelaksanaan EA. Cuma in terms of formally mandated in the pemilihan itu belum lagi lah. Hopefully kan boleh keluar di sini lah. So nak cerita terus how to so the way that kita approach, kita dah lalui kan the ranjau tu untuk memastikan orang faham EA ni apa kan. So kita implement EA in three different ways serentak. Satu in terms of bila agensi kata you have to do some institutional reform ataupun you have to do some changes in your services. So kita kata kalau tak ada tools yang lain, kalau ada yang lain please use. Nak buat BPR ke, nak buat emboss ke, duit pasal kan, nak buat lean ke, whatever. Tapi kita boleh bantu in terms of dokumentkan dalam bentuk digital menggunakan ini. So itu kita kata melalui transformasi. Yang kedua, setiap kali agensi nak memohon projek-projek ICT through jawatan kuasa yang kita buat penilaian, mampu buat penilaian, kita make sure dia mesti buatkan architecture. Is at 4 level tu, kita template kan, dia mesti kena tunjukkan architecture. So that is how we are a culture lah. Satu lagi is if they ask for awareness lah, awareness session, then we send people to give awareness seluruh Malaysia lah kot So in terms of understanding on how EA is being used in in an organisation tu, the pelbagai approach lah. That's why kalau you kata you nak orang kata berlawatan ataupun nak tengok macam mana EA tu dilaksanakan dalam satu organisasi tu, kita tak boleh nak kata organisasi ni lebih baik daripada organisasi yang lain dalam segi pelaksanaan, kerana dia memenuhi kehendak stakeholder ataupun top management of those kementerian agensi.
Okay, terima kasih. Sebelum kita teruskan lagi, maybe ada any soalan tak daripada floor? Tak tanya apa-apa. Kita semua dah tahu lah macam mana nak buat EA. Dah banyak lawan tuan. Okay, so of course there are many things to be done lah, capacity building, okay, you start with a small scope and so on lah. Okay, so maybe we can go back to the panelists. Because agensi ni ada different level. Okay, bila kata EA, ada pihak kementerian, ada jabatan, ada bahagian, ada cawangan dan sebagainya lah. So how should an agency start lah? Okay, katakanlah sometimes they have done their IT transformation program ataupun part of their ISP kan, because the previous ISP was saying that you need to form EA and so on. So there are agencies yang I faham you dah ada set up the EA department ataupun EA unit you dah set up. Okay, so maybe there's those yang dah ada EA baru set up, what should they do next? Okay, ataupun some of them Okay, in terms of their transformation and so on, they have to revamp your entire big system. Okay, that means dia project based lah. Dia tak ada EA setup tapi dia ada project. So how they can actually start the EA in that scenario lah. Kira ada dua scenario lah. Satu, you dah set up the EA department atau EA unit. Okay, what's next for them? How they start their EA? And also those yang katakan, I ada project. So should I jump into the project or how should I do the EA? Okay, so maybe Dr. Rina boleh share dulu.
Dua scenario ke?
Boleh pilih satu. Tak apa, nak dulu pun boleh.
Jawapan soalan. Okay, selalu kes yang kita dapat lah, dia tak ada apa-apa lagi. So dia nak buat pasukan. So kita kata okay, then you buat pasukan. Sebab kalau kita dah bagi train last year, training tu. So untuk sebelum kita mulakan langkah kita fasa 1 kat stage 1, dia memang kena ada pasukan. Dia panggil EAO, EA office. So when dah ada pasukan tu, daripada pasukan tu kita akan tahulah the scope tu juga. Kan, maksudnya scope tu kita akan buat daripada scope tu, inilah dia members for the pasukan, and then kita akan bagi training and so on lah. Kan, itu kita akan, kalau ada pasukan. Lepas tu yang kedua, kalau dia ada projek, kemudian dia nak start terus projek kan, so macam mana? So kalau kita nak dia satu yang kata agensi akan pegang, kita kena dapat kata ada motivasi, ada motivation kat situ baru boleh kita jump start. Maksudnya apa-apa pun kita nak buat EA ni kena ada top management punya support. Kalau top management tak tahu, kita buat sendiri saja, bahagian saja buat, jabatan dia buat, top management tak tahu, memang forever dia akan tak berjaya, dia akan berhubung. So daripada kita langkah pertama tu lagi, kita dah involvekan stakeholder. Itu yang paling penting. Jangan tinggalkan. Itu pertama. Kemudian kalau juga sama ada dia ada pasukan ke ataupun dia ada projek ke dan dia ada bajet dia nak proceed. So selalunya kita akan advance, okay, if you have budget, actually that is a project. Itu dah level 4 of EA. Implementation, kita tak consider EA lah. So macam mana nak buat? Kata, if you dah buat, kita pun pernah ada pengalaman dulu bila kita buat dekat KPKT contoh, kita sampai stage 3. Stage 3 maksudnya you identify the roadmap. You list down all the project that you need to do. Tapi malangnya bila dah ada that roadmap, kita tak ada duit nak implement. So macam, ni ada duit tapi tak ada EA pada awal. So apa yang kita buat ialah kita akan buat EA dia orang tu, buat dia pada stage pertama. Tapi kita akan pastikan bahawa yang scope dia tu ialah area yang besar. Contoh dia nak buat macam pasal sistem berkaitan dengan penguatkuasaan. So dia punya scope would be the program penguatkuasaan. Tak boleh besar sangat for the whole jabatan tu. Sebab dia punya orang pasukan dia hanya that particular, and then dia punya, orang kata that is the resource yang dia ada. So kita kena fikir juga dia punya resource, dia pada masanya, dia orang-orang yang akan terlibat. So supaya kita nak benda ni berjaya. So start small, but you nampak benda tu boleh dilaksanakan. Kan, bila sudah ada something, and then you akan growkan benda tu dari skop nombor 2, fasa 2, fasa 3 dan seterusnya. Okay, itu je. Okay, maybe saya share yang second scenario kita ada juga terima permohonan daripada yang memang dah pernah buat, tapi ada yang buat tak ikut MyGov-A punya metodologi ataupun artifact, sebab masa dia buat tu EA MyGov-A tak ada lagi. So macam mana dia nak transition kepada MyGov-A punya environment lah. So yang tu kita memang tahu tim dah ada, hasil pun dah ada. Maksudnya dah ada, dah to be at that time. So apa yang kita propose ialah you make a new program, kita panggil second iteration, di mana yang to be dulu tu dia jadi baseline pula, jadi yang asal dari semula, and then mana-mana yang program yang belum dilaksanakan kita akan check balik gap dia dengan kehendak yang semasa. So yang semasa tu jadi to be. Cuma dari segi mudahnya, bila dia telah melaksanakan ia sebelum ni, Dia cuma kena align je balik dengan all the deliverables yang mereka gariskan. So yang tu lebih mudah lah. Sama ada nak usaha internal atau outsource is up to the agency je lah. Yang kedua adalah apabila keperluan tu dinyatakan, hasil ataupun deliverables tu dinyatakan dalam sesuatu skop projek yang memang dah sign kontrak. Tapi bila mana dia nak menerima acceptance of hasil atau deliverables tu, dia tak ada kepakaran. So development is done by the vendor atau the outsource, tapi bila dia nak sahkan penerimaan hasil tu tak ada kepakaran, what they do is they engage us mampu sebagai kita kata pasukan assurance for serahan. So what we do is sama juga, kita make sure that all the deliverables align dengan kehendak mereka dengan artifact EA, so that dia boleh guna kita punya repository and at the same time beneficial kepada organization dia lah. So dalam kes tu lebih mudah lah, tapi dari segi keupayaan dalaman, kalau dia tak masukkan dalam skop dia supaya ada TOT, to sustain will be an issue. Yang tu kena ada juga elemen lah, kalau misalnya you outsource, ada elemen of TOT supaya internal development of your team EA tu ada.
Okay, terima kasih. Ada soalan lagi daripada peserta-peserta? Boleh.
Sebenarnya lah, saya ada dapat sikit lah. Saya rasa untuk EA government, actually kami nak buat, nak meyakinkan perusahaan atasan, sebenarnya kita need some sort of success story sebenarnya. So since di KPKT dah jalankan EA, actually memanglah kalau kita bukan antara salah satu daripada business stakeholder, kita tak tahu apa effect EA on the business model. Tapi bagusnya kalau ada some write up yang boleh quantify apa yang dia tambah baik dalam services dari segi value lah, pengurangan belanja apa, pengurangan masa dalam any proses, so that benda tu akan jadi satu contoh. Bukan saja di KPKT yang nak buat EA, other agency also, macam kita ada lack of assessing success. So kita tahu ada agensi yang dah buat EA, tapi kita di luar tak tahu apa successful, apa yang dah capai. So cantik kalau ada dekat MyGov EA portal tu penceritaan tentang impact EA on your business process lah. Itu satu. Untuk startup. Yang keduanya, saya sangat happy lah bila Dr. Is kata KSN akan sign that guidelines on EA. Saya rasa dah ada satu mandate lah, supaya bila KSU tengok KSN dah sign that mandate, dia akan follow lah. So mudah untuk kami meyakinkan bila ada mandate tu. It's langkah yang baik lah kami lakukan. Satu lagi, saya baca dekat dalam MyGov EA ada lawatan daripada Korean punya government. Saya sangat menunggu hasil apa yang dibincangkan. Kita tak buat mampu, kita tak buat involved in the lawatan, tapi kita rasa dalam lawatan itu akan jadi beneficial to us also yang keluar ni. Saya cadangkan kalau lebih share lah sikit hasil lawatan tu. Soalan lagi macam
Okay, sharing lah, sharing. Nanti yang KSN yang mandate tu dah tahulah, hopefully by end of the year will come in. Cuma my question to all of you okay, ingat my question to all of you, hari ni keluar mandat, you tahu how to jump start tak? Tahu nak buat apa? Okay, satu pakai mampu. So this is where I hope that you try to get as much as possible lah ataupun dan sebagainya. So for the other yang sharing tu, saya serahkan kepada doktor macam mana nak sharing, quick one.
Okay, dari segi penerbitan ataupun penulisan, sebenarnya mampu ada lah membuat penulisan berkaitan dengan EA, tapi not in terms of macam cakap tadi how to change the business process. Itu sebab tahun ni baru kita betul-betul akan lihat dari sisi kesan dan impact dia. So planning mampu in terms of penerbitan yang tahun lepas kita ada keluarkan dua. Satu in terms of the keberkesanan of change management program kita. Yang kedua berkaitan dengan what is in the blueprint. Yang tu ada dalam bulletin kerajaan digital. Ada dekat website mampu kan. Untuk tujuan yang pelaksanaan mengenai EA ni, kita akan ada 3 series of penerbitan. InsyaAllah this year, by end of this year lah I think, atau maybe middle of this year, kita ada satu penerbitan yang menceritakan hasil pada TOK kita buat hari tu. Bengkel TOK yang kita ada 17 services, macam mana kita transcend all the services yang end to end tu. So kat situ boleh baca lah how kita punya approach, apa yang kita dapat, peningkatan pemahaman berapa persen, mana agensi yang terlibat, baikkan dalam services ada discussing yang kat situ. Tapi dari segi RM, secara impactful yang direct ni tak ada. Tapi dalam tu kita ada cerita how to prioritize, what kind of cost yang perlu ambil kira itu adalah. Dari segi the next round of penerbitan tu dependent on the way kita laksanakan lah pembangunan. Kalau maybe ada satu lagi yang kita cadang this year, kita ada 6 perkhidmatan utama tu, then all the hasil of how we develop the 6 perkhidmatan with different approach, kita akan hasilkan juga satu penerbitan untuk dikongsikan. And then next another year, after 2020, kita memang sekarang ni sedang kita sedang dalam proses membangunkan standard architecture in terms of business service, in terms of data standard, application portfolio, performance, and also technology integration. So kalau misalnya standards tu I think this year or next year dah quite firm, kita punya garis panduan pun orang pakai dah faham, and then we have another penerbitan to share the knowledge of how kita standardize in terms of interoperability approach tadi. So yang tu dalam inner pipeline lah. So tahun ni kita juga ada keluarkan insyaAllah yang nak kata promotion boleh lah kata promotion items yang menceritakan perjalanan kita bangunkan EA ni lah setakat tahun 2018 yang tu mungkin selepas pengurusan bersetuju kita akan kongsikan juga dekat portal kita. Selalu yang lawat portal kita, kita boleh kongsikan the video kat situ. So ada banyak bentuk of sharing lah yang boleh. Selain daripada tu memang dalam awareness session mana-mana pun memang kita share lah.
Nak tambah sikit? Korea.
Okay, in terms of benchmarking, visit sebenarnya kita dah terima visit daripada tahun 2017 lagi. In terms of how EA is being implemented in Malaysia, kita terima daripada negara Indonesia, Sri Lanka, Korea. Kita juga share dekat Singapore.
Sri Lanka.
So kalau setakat ni lah dari segi lawatan tu is day benchmark lah. So maksudnya dia tengok macam mana kaedah cara kita laksana. Tapi untuk kerjasama collaboration, setakat ni kita try to work out dengan Korea tapi belum finalize.
Mesti. Okay, masa dah hampir tamat ni. Okay, any last question? Kalau ada, pada belum? Last question? Okay, kalau tak ada, so just to recap that there are many ways to jumpstart lah selain daripada go to mampu okay, so you can actually start something on your own, look at the scope, also the top management okay, so this looks like it is not technical, okay, tapi you kena buat. Okay, contohnya di MOE when they had some kind of problem to convince their top management di bawah statistics and so on, macam mana nak convince EA penting untuk digital, apa pun dia tanya detail, cerita lah mental model lah apa, semua tak faham. Okay, so one of the example yang diorang gunakan, dia kata ingat tak dulu masa nak buat Putrajaya, okay, dia ada master plan, ada blueprint, the whole of Putrajaya ni akan jadi pentadbiran kerajaan. Okay, dia ada your complex and so on kan. Okay, yang tu your PA. So bila you nak buat iterasi pertama, oh you buat dekat the current government complex macam mana. Perlu ada tak consultant untuk buat yang kedua? Oh perlu ada consultant so that you can do all these things. And then bila comes to another parcel pula dekat KPKT, KKLW semua-semua tu kan, there's another design, another way to do it. So for that purpose, kena ada lagi satu. So bila dia relate the real scenario into the top management and so on, oh dia kan nampak lah, oh EA ni is like the whole Putrajaya township and so on. Okay, then you start with the Putrajaya Central dulu, and then you go for different parcels. So each time you nak buat benda ni, of course the design can be different and so on lah. So kalau kita dah ada map ni siap-siap, senang kita nak merancang dan sebagainya. So that was one of the ways they used to convince their top management and so on lah. Okay, so then also you need to set up your team lah, identify siapa orang-orang dia, hantarlah mereka untuk training to get the skills and so on, and have a lot of collaboration lah dengan mampu. Okay, so that they can actually help you to jumpstart their businesses. So another interesting thing is all the penerbitan yang akan datang ni. Ni real case scenarios and also for all the journey. Okay, I think this penerbitan bukan hanya berguna di Malaysia, and I think it will be used globally as well lah. So I would like to congratulate the Malaysian government. Okay, so that you can actually share your implementation across the globe as well lah. Okay. So just to end, maybe kita dapatkan pesanan panelis. Panelis. Maybe in a very short pesanan kepada agensi-agensi kita, just in a minute ke macam tu, apa pesanan panelis kita for them to move forward dengan this agency.
EA ni sebenarnya sesuatu yang berguna lah. So pegang pada itu, apa-apa pun yang datang, challenge ke apa, don't give up, teruskan berjuang untuk kebaikan nation dan rakyat.
Supporter.
Satu lagi nak pesan pada kita ni, jangan takut lah jangan takut nak start. Kena yakin diri kita boleh buat. That's the first step begins kan. Dan kalau misalnya takut stakeholder tak faham EA, don't use EA terms. Jangan guna langsung. Gunalah yang dia selesa. Contohnya macam perubahan, transformasi, digital lah, apa-apa sahaja yang management bersedia untuk terima lah. Sebab yang tu selalunya disebut-sebutkan. So, don't use any EA terms.
Okay, thank you very much. Kita lakukan tugas dulu kepada panelis kita. Ingat jangan takut berjuang. Okay, with that we end this session. Okay, there's a token of appreciation kepada panelis kita. Okay, so kita ambil gambar dulu. Okay, sambil itu kita take foto lah untuk ni. Belakang. Tu masuk surat kapal. Okay. Next is Dr. Nolida. Okay, tepuk sikit. Okay, terima kasih. So I hand over back to Ethan.
Now, you sempat ke make it before 5? Yeah. Dr. Nolida. Okay, we have a last session here. So, we're gonna have back our Dr. Nolida's speaking roughly. I'm going to actually share with us on the topics on the core digital competencies development in driving, continuous transformation and innovation. So please welcome applause to our Dr. Nolida again. Yeah. Welcome, Dr. Mamidas. Hand over to you. Make sure we can go back before 5. Huh? Yeah.
Okay, terima kasih. Okay, so my slide sangat simple. The core digital competency development in driving continuous transformation and innovation. Okay, next slide. Okay, I will cover 3 perkara je. So one on the transformation and innovation, digital competency, and then EA and digital transformation. Okay, next. Cepat pula ni. Okay, dari segi transformation and innovation untuk kerajaan Malaysia, kita tengok midterm review of 11 Malaysia Plan. Okay, jadi kalau kita tengok untuk, sebab saya bercakap daripada pihak government ni, so kita tak dekat pillar number 1 lah. Ya, pillar number 1 dia cakap mengenai reforming governance. And juga kalau bercakap tentang human resource, dia adalah dekat pillar yang akhir, pillar number 4. Okay, next. Okay, dalam midterm review tu, kalau kita bercakap dekat pillar nombor 1 tu, okay, so dalam pillar 1 tu inilah dia. So dalam konteks kita pada hari ini iaitu digital transformation, ialah kita ni dekat area D. Yeah? So those yang PhD student ni, PhD student, seronok saya dengan student ni, sebab saya selalu bagi training lah. Dia dekat area D, which is masa pendigitalan, dia di sini. Okay? Dekat area D, di mana expanding digitalization agenda including intensifying EA implementation. EA sekali disebut di situ. So ada di situ yang berpenting. Okay, kemudian dari segi pelan strategi sektor awam 2016-2020, inilah dia punya framework. Ini framework ISP untuk sektor awam. So apakah kita punya vision? Ialah towards this one yang tengah ni, digital government. So inilah kerajaan nak jadi, kita nak ada digital government. And then bila kita bercakap tentang capability, kita merujuk kepada trust movement. Right? And then bila kita kata pasal enterprise architecture, kita merujuk kepada enabling ecosystem ni di sini. Alright, it's one of the pemboleh daya. Okay, so next. So again, yang di dalam peran strategi kita tadi, kita kata dekat trust 5 ni, kat sini lah. Yeah. So dia mengenai strengthen the capabilities, strengthen the capabilities of public sector ICT personnel. Dia saya bercakap tentang personal ICT lah. So kita ada keluarkan plan yang terbaru lah, which saya tak dapat nak share untuk kali ni lah. So untuk slide-slide saya ni, this is the strategy, ada 2 strategi untuk ICT ni, pegawai teknik maklumat lah khususnya. Okay, next, and this is the action plan. Okay, next. And next. Okay, now we go to the digital competency. Okay, so macam mana kita nak relate tadi, kalau kita nak plan strategik tadi tu, dia untuk orang IT je. Tapi macam mana untuk the whole workforce dalam pendidikan awam. So dalam DPA tu dia ada satu, kita panggil DGCCR. So saya share. Tapi sebelum saya proceed with that, bila kita cakap tentang kita guna teknologi because dia bagi value ke kita. So dari segi kata articles ataupun reference literature review, dia ada satu top 8 technology values ya. So boleh refer kat sini dekat mic ni. For assistance, connectivity, health, civilization, security, and this one benda yang the value dan yang teknologi beri kepada kita adalah 8 dari segi value-nya. So next. Dan ni saya sebut tadi yang di DGCR tu kan, Digital Government Competency and Capability Readiness ni. So this one is bawah JPA. Ini untuk the whole workforce dalam perkhidmatan awam. So macam mana dia define? Dia kata kat sini kita perlukan 2, kompetensi dan juga capabilities. So apa itu kompetensi? Kompetensi itu adalah skill yang diperlukan. Yang diperlukan maksudnya dipegang individu. Tetapi kalau kita cakap tentang capabilities, dia ada di level organizational. Dia ada set of skill. Dan capability kalau kita tengok dia definisi yang digunakan ialah is defined as the level of knowledge, skills and process ability available within each competency of the organisation to build its product or deliver its service. So dalam capability tu, dia ada pula untuk setiap kompetensi tu. Dia ada relation kat situ. Right? Okay, that's next. Okay. So di sini yang menarik di sini ialah dia ada tahap-tahap dari segi kita belajar, learn sampai kepada acculturation. So when we learn, the training, kita ada unsur training. Training ni macam yang ATD selalu bagi training, is a organized activity. The objective organized activity tu untuk attain a required level of knowledge or skill. Alright? So bila dah bagi training, this is the things yang kita lacking lah. Untuk EA ni, this one yang kita kena buat next level, experiential learning. Maksudnya kita ada di situ process of learning through the experience. That's the next step. To get this, you need to do. You do that baru dapat experience. Itu yang kita kena buat. Sebab tahun lepas tu kita banyak training, banyak kat sana. Okay, and then after that baru kita boleh jadi acculturation, which is kita dah menjadi satu budaya pula pada kita. Okay, next. Okay, ni according to this articles, this is the skill and competency in the digital age. Nanti boleh tengok. Okay, next. Okay, so kalau kita bercakap tentang digital transformation through enterprise architecture, kita sebenarnya bercakap tentang connected. So maksudnya dari level di bawah ni, iaitu infrastructure, connected infrastructure, kemudian dia connected kepada application, connected information. So dia sebenarnya saling berhubung. Yeah? Okay, next. Okay, this is my GovEA, Malaysia Government Enterprise Architecture. Dulu namanya GovEA, sekarang dah nama baru. Okay, next. So, implementing digital platform is a team effort. So, EA team tak boleh berdirinya sendiri. Dia kena berdiri dengan data analytiknya, applications semua kena work together to ensure the digital platform is success implementation. Okay, next. Okay, this is the team lah. Tak adalah, ni masa training, so happy je kan. Okay, next. Ada gambar. Okay, so yang di sini artikel ni mengatakan use EA to help idea and new business innovation. Macam tadi lah, Mr. David dah cerita dah actually benda ni, so yang cerita lagi lah. EA sepatutnya dia memberi tadi inovasi kita tu bertambah-tambah lah ideas and so on, tapi berdasarkan keperluan. Okay, next. Okay. Dekat sini ni tentang team. So those agency yang dah ada team, ada benda ni yang kita kena ambil tahu. So kata EA team di sini mesti kita connected into the impact of EA on different part of the organisation. Ni pun Mr. David dah cakap tadi. So bila kita buat EA tu, pastikan dia ada bagi impact pada organisation. Dan juga kita identify where the interaction need to happen. Kita yang tentukan, bila kata roadmap, bila kita nak buat, siapa yang terlibat dia, kita boleh tentukan because it's based on the real situation. Okay. Okay, then EA need to build their management consulting skill. Kena ada skill pun, tak boleh skill technical je, kena ada soft skill dan juga hard skill. So skill yang diperlukan nanti rujuk kat sini, nanti sharekan juga slide ni. Kemudian setiap EA service will require specific skills and competency, of course. EA ni memerlukan macam-macam skill. Even saya pun tak ada skill. Kita macam kena belajar. Sebab tu kata EA ni kena banyak baca, kena banyak Google, kena banyak do research to get the knowledge so that you can contribute. Okay, next. Okay, digital transformation. Dikatakan melalui artikel ni, katanya kalau companies ke organisation ke, dia embark on digital transformation kan, dia akan ada complex IT landscape. Okay, tadi macam mana nak handle this complex environment landscape kan. So EA dia sebagai digital transformation facilitator, so EA tu akan bantu manage the IT dan bisnes yang kompleks seperti ini, dan dia akan bantu dari segi kompleks. So macam mana dia manage kan? So dia akan galakkan reuse. So tak adalah complicated sangat, reuse contohlah. And then you boleh buat point to point. So many point to point sambungan kan. So EA ni akan bantu okay, which point yang actually you hanya perlu rasa satu point and the others connect to that point only. So because you have the big picture ni. Okay, ini adalah data transformation operating model. Okay, untuk student-student sangat sesuai merujuk kepada ini. Okay, next. Okay, so dekat sini dia menceritakan bahawa untuk yang pertama on the value governance, kedua proses capability, teknologi dan juga people. Ini sama macam Mr. David dah cakap tadi. We need to have the process, technology, people and together. We blind together to implement EE. And then, so kalau kita kata, kalau kita handle benda apa ni, the circle, the value governance tu maksudnya antaranya ialah apa-apa dari segi strategik lah, kita kena fikir secara strategik. Juga ni banyak kepada orang kata stakeholder semua kan, so kita ikut do the right thing and do things right. Macam teknologi kan not focus to the technology itself, not on the technical part, more on the collaboration, integration and on the also on the people development. Dekat sini dia based on the research dia kata people ni dia macam sebenarnya motivate bila kita bagi dia tugasan yang menarik. So dia akan tahu itu dia secara sendiri. Tak pandai dia nak bagi duit ke apa ke, dia mungkin yes, but when you percaya and then you give interesting job and they will try motivate them. Okay, next. Okay, ni EA methodology. So mostly yang kat sini dah tahu kan, ada 5 stage dalam metodologi bagi EA. Tapi ini stage pertama. Bila dalam stage pertama ni, apa yang kita, sebelum kita dapat stage pertama ni, biasanya kita akan ada buat kat depan ni, dia panggil pra. Kita kena buat assessment pasukan kita ke our organisation ni dari segi readiness untuk implement EA ni kat mana. Itu di-showkan lah, dilaksanakan. Okay, next. Okay, ini kursus yang capability development yang kita buat pada tahun 2018 dalam masa 4 bulan saja. Bayangkan 475 for that training, 381 untuk customized training and 617 participant untuk transfer of technology within 4 months. Okay, and then this is orang kata training yang tadi. Cuma macam dari segi orang kata belajar daripada pengalaman, mungkin ada sikit-sikit dekat TOK, transfer of knowledge, tapi tak berapa banyak sangatlah. When you doing EA, you pergi stage 1, stage 2, 3 and so that was the hands-on. Yang tu yang kau belajar banyak. Okay, next. Okay, this is the process lah. Daripada kita tentukan cost schedule, cost outline, logistic, invitation and confirmation, preparation. So this is yang saya nak tunjuk kat sini actually on the assessment. Okay, bila kita nanti di agency, bila buat training ke, you nak assess before and after. So that you can tengok where is the gap before and after. So you akan tahu nanti the difference. Okay, next. Okay, this is contoh lah kita untuk competency level. Kita ada 3 layer. Kita buat dari segi sama ada dia tu dia peringkat knowledge, experience ataupun mastery. So ada 3 level, and then setiap level tu kita pecah juga supaya kita boleh faham dia dekat mana sebenarnya secara kata kalau kita nak suggest something lah. So we pecahkan lagi. So semuanya 1 sehingga 10 lah dia punya scale. Alright. Okay, next. Okay, kemudian kita akan minta peserta isi borang. So dia punya value, dia punya jawapan tu kita akan transform dalam bentuk angka dan kita kira purata. So this is jawapan untuk before, this is jawapan untuk selepas. So we understand tadi get the difference. So we get for this particular one course saja. Ini adalah khusus untuk BITAS sesi ketiga dia set saya. So kita tengok ni warna biru dengan warna merah. Merah is before. Before untuk setiap item. So item dia ada sini is 5 dan 6. Dia bukan 6 soalan Ni adalah this item might be have 3 or 4 question. Okay, so and then kita tengok this is hasil last year lah for BITAS. Dia naik sangat lah dia punya dia punya kata knowledge tu bertambah. Alright, so we do this for all the course we done. Okay, next. So ini adalah contoh untuk khusus customize one EA asas stage sesi 1 sampai sesi 4. So warna biru adalah sebelum, hijau adalah selepas. Tapi dia masih lagi level 4, tidak mencapai 5, belum nak kepada experience. Of course lah, you tak buat yang sama kan. So this is the way we do. So, nanti agency boleh kena jugalah cara yang sama. Okay, next. So 5 perkara ni harap-harap nanti balik boleh amalkan. Pertama kita kena engage top executive dalam kita punya decision, dan kita kena more to the strategic planning dalam pada operation sangat, and then kena fokus pada outcome dia, benefit dia, and then use capability. Kat sini maksudnya kalau kita nak connect business dengan IT ni, kita macam create satu capability. Contohnya capability untuk menjangkakan something lah, macam kita gunakan data kan, kita macam provide capability tu kecil je tapi sebenarnya berguna pada orang bisnes. Dia akan macam wah baguslah EE ni, that is dia kena ada this one lah strategi, and then kita kena develop lah orang-orang kita ni. Kalau boleh kita nak retain, tapi dalam government ni susah kan dia bertukar-tukar. Okay, next. Okay, again yang form move ni pun akan membantu pasukan juga. Ini yang ayat pertama tadi Mr. David kata, kena gunakan terms yang mudah, jangan guna terms yang technical. Kemudian draw capability, kemudian start with a clear target. Kita kena clear kita nak pergi mana, nak pergi Johor ke, nak pergi Perlis ke, kena clear back is our direction. And then kena ada training, tapi training ni bukan training EA je, sebab kata training EA ke belajar buat EA kan, that is tak ada masalah. Kita juga kena ada juga training yang boleh dari segi communicationnya, coachingnya, problem solvingnya, how to bridge the gaps between business and IT, which is kita kena bagi. Ya, EA tu of course kena belajar lah juga. Okay. Okay, next. Okay, in summary, so dari information government, kita ke arah kerajaan digital, and then digital competency ni kita dah buat training last year. Now we are going to this, which is 2019, we are focusing on 6 kementerian right now. I think there are 2 more agency coming in, and then for the EA and digital information, yeah, the things, that 5 things that I hope you can bring and apply in the organization. Itu saja. 20 minit, terima kasih. Ada soalan tu? Ada bertanya boleh. Kita nak konfirmasi. Okay, tuan nanti boleh berhubung dengan Encik Fahmi yang berkaca mata Excel tu untuk dapatkan borang, isi dan subordinate. Nanti kita bagi free access. Actually satu license actually equal to 500,000. Okay, nanti communicate. Okay, lagi sekali. Boleh tengok. Dia orang nampak.
On time, 4:30. But before we go off, just be a favor, make sure you provide feedback to our organizer and the speaker and the panelists for today by filling up the forms which is available in front of you on the tables. And after that, you can pass over to the colleagues over here. or you just put it on the table in the middle and you will collect it from the respective table. So I would like to, on behalf of all organizers for TAG groups and also ISAs, yeah, we thank you very much for your time, for this day today, spending your time here with us. And we would like to see you again next year, BITAS 2020. And for me, I bless you all, have a blessing and a wonderful evening. And tomorrow is a public holiday, don't go to work.